Alrighty. Welcome, everybody, to Wednesday Wool Gathering. Now, I know things look a little different this week. You'll probably notice, first of all, we're in a very nice-looking PNG establishment. And you'll notice a certain space pimp is not here hosting. That's because yours truly is hosting the Wednesday Wool Gathering tonight. Is the music loud?
Yeah.
Okay. Music is turned down a bit. So,
Keep going.
Archlord, keep going? Okay. How about now?
That's good.
Okay. So, from here on out, Archlord will no longer be hosting our Wednesday talks. However, he might still show up every once in a while to be included in the talks, or if for whatever reason I might not be able to make it one day. But as it stands, I will be the new host for Wednesdays. That's basically all there is to announce for it. So, I think with that, unless... No, actually that's it. So, let's begin this episode of Wednesday Wool Gathering. Now, Celia, you have...
fuck is Wool Gathering?
What the fuck is Wool Gathering? Celia says. Well, I am very glad you asked. Did Arch send me that link? I don't know that he did. No, he didn't. He didn't send me that link. So I'm just gonna fucking look it up. Oh boy. Okay, so the story behind renaming this to Wednesday Wool Gathering is as follows. Wednesday Wonders was kind of for both Arch and myself, and we were thinking of coming up with a new name for it. Though we wanted to keep with the alliteration, but we couldn't think of anything else really that would start with a W that had a good definition for what we wanted Wednesdays to be. Well, Arch, in his infinite skill, decided to go into a thesaurus and look up synonyms for like imagine or wonder or something. I forget what it was, but it's words starting with the word W. Hence how he found wool gathering. Its second definition is indulgence in idle imagination, a foolish or useless pursuit or design. That is the reason why it is called wool gathering now, because this is indulgence in idle imagination. That is what we do here on Wednesdays, especially when you have my tinfoil head ass running the show. So
man, we're in for a bumpy ride.
Today is the birth of the wool gathering. So, with that out of the way, because Celia has been dying to know this for the past week and a half since they first learned about it. Fel was just confused as hell because he didn't hear about it until today. At least I'm pretty sure.
Literally like 10 minutes.
Like 10 minutes ago, he had no idea, no idea whatsoever.
It was interesting.
Something I should probably also do, because I'm definitely a professional and thought to do this, is pull up Twitter in case in case some motherfucker decided they wanted to send in some questions. So that I have that up. If it wants to load, that would be great. That's quite the feed. Okay. Okay. Nothing as of yet. However, the Twitter link is in the bio below, or you can just post questions in the chat if you feel so inclined, in case you're curious about anything. But to start off with, I would like to let one of you two, if you have a question ready, aside from, of course, what the fuck is wool gathering. If you have a question ready, if you would like to ask it now.
I have a question on theories. Since we're talking about tinfoil hats. Here.
Okay.
Who do we think is this assumption on the mystery samurai?
The mystery samurai?
Yeah.
Which one is that?
The one that is basically attacking.
Oda. The one with the dog.
Yeah. We know the name is the thing. My current thought is that they're a clan that either got exiled or a clan that started in the north and are currently trying to retake their place.
That kind of throws a wrench at it, though, because my character would have knowledge of all clans that have ever existed.
Unless they were erased from existence or thought to have been.
Possibly, but anything's possible, but it's highly unlikely.
I mean, I'm sure that there are things that the Star Strider clan wouldn't have known about when they weren't part of the clans. Or wouldn't have been privy to. This is my assumption here. Yeah. But my thought is that the Dragon Clan might have hidden this. Might have, tried to sweep it under the rug. It's my current thoughts, anyway.
What makes you think the Dragon Clan in particular would have a reason to
because nobody fucks with the Dragon Clan and what they decide.
Except for the Emperor.
Except for the Emperor.
True.
But I will say that they are the direct guards of the Emperor.
Yeah, which means that a previous Emperor, or the current one, might have been the one to tell them to sweep it under the rug.
So, essentially, if anybody knows, it'll either be the elders of the Dragon Clan or the Emperor himself. Is what you believe.
I know one of the theories we were throwing out there a while ago was the fact that, well, what if it turns out to be your dad?
Yep, that was one of my initial thoughts.
You know what I mean?
What if it turns out to be Felwolf's dad?
And it's a very low possibility, though.
It's improbable. I will give it that. However, again, my gut says to hold on to this in the back of my head for the time being. Because there are some things that just kind of line up a little too well or a little too weirdly to be other people.
Probability, but it is still a chance.
I acknowledge its improbability, but I still think that it's more than possible.
Yeah, you're not wrong to hold on to that. That's for sure.
Because, I mean, think about it.
That's something I'm going to, keep in my mind for potentially later.
Because, think about it. Felwolf's dad, Dragonhawk, he disappeared, what was it, like a year before the campaign started?
Yeah.
So he's been gone for about a year, little over a year. And the only thing that we know is that one of his swords, was found by Fel. Where did you find the first sword, actually, Fel? Or was it just left?
When I awoke one day in my family in our shrine, we basically found the sword in the shrine.
And that was the first sign that something was wrong.
Along with the letter, yeah.
I guess I probably can't ask about the letter, huh?
It's another letter you can't know about.
Fuck. What? What is it with letters? What is it with letters and not being able to be... God damn it. Man, I hate letters. Letters are dumb. Letters are stupid. So the sword and then a letter.
And then of course we found the Wakizashi in Oasis.
We found that in Oasis. Sold by who we presume to be the individual, the mystery samurai, the one with the dog. That's who we presume it to be.
The one that we supposedly killed.
Supposedly.
Though I'm pretty sure they're not dead.
No body, no dead. Sorry.
They fell down the cliff, but they threw something before they stopped.
Well, true, but that broke. That thrown object did break.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the same weapon that I used. Remember the one I have on my back?
Kasarigama, is it?
Yeah, the Kasarigama. He used it to have the blade basically impale itself in the wall of the rock
Yeah.
face. And when he finally the chain went taut,
It snapped.
he must have like rolled low or something, and like the chain just broke.
Yeah. Which my thought is, it still would have slowed down his fall.
I mean, it's
like
a
somewhat.
long fall.
It is a long fall.
That we don't
That is
know.
true.
We don't know how deep that chasm is. I don't think anybody
that is
knows.
true.
We just know that it goes so deep that nobody can see the bottom. For all we know, that shit could go straight to the center of the earth. Like,
Possible. Yeah, you're not wrong.
but then to go back to the Wakizashi, you know, it was sold to Khan by this mystery samurai. At least that's what we've pieced together, what we've, you know, assumed thus far. And if we're assuming that, there are only one of two ways that he could have come into possession of that Wakizashi. A, he killed Dragonhawk and just sold it to Khan to get it out of his possession, or he is Dragonhawk and is leaving behind these things in order to make people believe he is dead so that he can lead this mystery clan. Now, for what reason that would be, I don't know. I don't know why he would go to such lengths to, first off, make people believe he was dead, and then to basically go against his entire clan, including you know, his eldest son that he is basically groomed to be the next chief of the Star Strider clan, the next head rather. So
Here's something that I don't understand, though.
Okay.
Why would he have to sell it?
That
What
is
did
a
he
valid
sell it
question.
for?
A samurai would not sell his sword.
Right, but why would this?
Think about who he sold it
mystery
to, for
samurai?
example.
Why would this mystery samurai, regardless of whoever it is, why would they sell a weapon?
Think of it this way. The weapon that he sold specifically is the one item I need to do this ritual. And the person he sold it to just so happened to have one fucking hell of a vault.
True.
So perhaps you think somebody did kill your father and was attempting to put it in a place where it could not be retrieved so that you could not make your ascension.
To basically gank my heritage, if you will.
I mean, if you wanted to do that, why not just throw it into the ocean then?
He
Why
probably
keep
wanted to
it
go
in a
back
place
and
where it
retrieve
can
it.
be retrieved?
He probably wanted to go back and retrieve it at some point, possibly.
Why would he?
Trophy? Who knows? Why do murderers keep trophies?
There's always the katana, though.
The katana was delivered. We don't know. He came from the south. The katana came from elsewhere. We don't know where that came from.
True.
Why would he go east, drop off the katana, go back west, come from the south back to the east? No, the katana had to come from somewhere else.
So here's the other question then: why would he go back for the Wakizashi afterwards?
I don't know. He could have been. See,
Yeah,
you have to
there's
answer the
there's
first
a
question.
lot of questions that are not answered, and we just it's
Just
just
keep
not
digging this
enough.
hole deeper and deeper.
Well,
Yeah.
no. The first question that really has been egging me on is Dragonhawk never traveled alone. He always traveled with someone, and usually it's the Emerald Legends, a member or two of the Emerald Legends. This means if something happened to Dragonhawk, whoever did this something would have had to contend with not one or two, but possibly three of the Emerald Legends, which are renowned heroes.
Or possibly it was one of the Emerald Legends.
Yeah, it could have even been a betrayal from within. I mean, we can't really rule anything out.
Yeah.
But then you'd have to ask, why would one of the Emerald Legends turn?
It-
You know?
There's too many unanswered questions at this point
Yeah.
in order to really kind of figure out what's going on in regards to that, or if it's for sure Dragonhawk.
But at the same time, we have to answer some of these questions because
Yeah.
if I go this weekend to Shao Now, which is what the plan still is, and I conduct this ritual and I become the new head of the clan Star Strider, while we're out adventuring, which is what the clan head generally does,
Hmm.
who defends the city?
Well, now here's the question, because we just got to the Cherry Blossom Samurai's temple.
Yeah.
Mao was waiting for us there, and now we have met Mao.
Well, he seems to be
So-
worried about this
Something
silver
else.
samurai
Yeah,
specifically.
he knows something is up with the Silver Samurai, and
Well, I wanna
think it
point
might be
out-
related.
I want to point out something that occurred to me. Is we saw, one of us saw that the silver samurai was riding upon a ethereal dragon, right?
And Arya
Now
saw that.
we're in a temple where the temple is about a samurai who essentially befriended a golden dragon of the same
Yep.
make, basically. There could be a possible thread of connection there as
It's
well.
possible.
Because Mao obviously knows who the fuck this is. He's like, he wanted to make sure we saw him.
Yeah. Like, it's entirely possible that the Silver Samurai is the Cherry Blossom Samurai. Entirely possible.
So you think that
Do
the
I
Platinum
think that
Katana, the story of the Platinum Katana killing the Cherry Blossom Samurai was in a similar sense to like how Obi-Wan explained to Luke that Anakin or Darth Vader killed Anakin, quote unquote, but you think they're
Yeah.
in fact one and the same.
I think possible. I think that's a possibility.
Or
Um,
somebody, there's always those like classic villain tropes of the villain resurrecting a once would have been hero to make a new villain, kind of a deal.
Or corrupting. I mean, resurrection or corruption, either or could
I
work.
don't. At this point, I don't think the Silver Katana is evil. The thing that's got me on that idea right now is that we only know that the Cherry Blossom Samurai was defeated by the Silver Katana.
Yeah.
They were the only ones that actually beat the Cherry Blossom Samurai. We did not hear that they killed them.
No, I believe that was part of the story of the Cherry Blossom Samurai was that he was slain, specifically slain by the Platinum Katana.
Yeah.
He was not slain. That was not what
I'm
Arch
99%
said.
sure that that's what Arch said.
That was not what Arch said. I'm almost 99% certain that that is not what
Okay,
Arch
well
said.
here's a better
We'll
question.
have to
Did you
look-
take a
look
note
at
of it?
Let me see. I will look through my notes.
If you have the notes of like exactly what he had said, then sure. But I'm 99% certain that he said he was slain, not just defeated. If he was just defeated and not slain, why the hell does he have a whole ass temple?
No, you're right. Who killed the Cherry Blossom Samurai?
Yes,
You are right on that.
I believe.
Never
Did
mind.
I take notes of that as well? I might have. I'm so sorry. I accidentally just punched my mic.
But no, you're right. They did kill the Cherry Blossom Samurai. So that changes things then.
Yeah.
It is a possibility that they are resurrected then.
Another idea I had, potentially, off of our experiences so far, going back to Oasis, finding my Wakizashi there, from what I remember, a grimoire of some type, skeletal remains of a dragon, this fucking heirloom sword thing from your backstory.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, this seems to be an individual who doesn't necessarily collect, but seems to be more of a keeper than a collector.
They
Possible.
are definitely someone who collects things through any means necessary.
But the question is,
Interesting things or things that will potentially draw people to him to have some fun. That's what
or
it seems
he
like.
might be a type of like that classic black market person where they're a keeper and they hold things for people that don't want these things to be found.
Yeah,
And like I said, come back for them later at another date.
yeah, that is a possibility. Fuck, where was it? I didn't take note of that. Shit.
Of what?
of what the grimoire said, because it's not something that Arya would have heard. So
Which
didn't
grimoire?
take notes.
Well, there's two. There's the one that was upstairs, and there's the one that was in the vault. That was
The one in
chained.
the vault. The one specifically in the vault that
The
had
one that was chained.
mention of the dragons.
I do believe I took note of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I
the
didn't
one
because
the one
it's
that
not something that Arya would know.
Shadow the one that Shadow read to me, is that the one that you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so the one that Shadow read to me was the one talking about Rema and the Endless Horde. It was basically told that it was an abyssal dragon and part of the Shade Pact, which are basically like the anti-gods of this universe, and is worshipped by evil dragons. The final entry of that log that we had found is something similar to this. It says, "We have gathered Gordon came. The nestled peak is near. Many fled to the frozen crown. She is come, not for one, but for all. Her hordes follow. The mask, that fool. But she, oh, she is here. I have hidden. If she were to find me, let all know that it was the abyssal dragon, Rema." So, I don't know exactly what role this dragon or whoever it was that wrote this book played. It could have been someone who was fleeing.
It sounds like an invasion force.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me, yeah.
And I remind you that there's been a few big wars in the past. Which, once again, it leads me back towards that this dude's keeping dark things for dark people kind of a thing going
Yeah.
on. Obviously, you have this dude that's going against all the rest of the samurai clans who hid the Wakizashi. You have Arya's dark family's past. They have the fucking blood sword thing that we found.
That
We
thing.
By the
have
way,
this
that
grimoire.
thing? Oh, fuck. You guys don't even... Do you guys, like, understand how significant that is?
No, we don't. We ever
that's-
since we've gotten it. No, actually, no, we don't have it anymore. I don't think.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like everything that this dude had was for some dark purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Almost
you didn't
everything.
have to fucking
Almost
coffin
everything.
with this giant golden fucking giant sized scepter.
He also had an altar to an old elvish god
There
in
was
his
that.
fucking bedroom.
There was also the fact that he had a catalog, a list of names of druids, both old, very old and ancient, and also more recent, as in with like the past 30 years.
And that included shamans as well.
And it included shamans, not just
which
druids.
I still have the name of one of them.
Yeah.
There was only one name that we saw. That was Shaman.
Tusk.
What was it? Tusk. Shaman Tusk of
Tusk,
the Dune
yeah.
Head.
Yeah.
Too many things to try and piece together.
Which
At
that in
this
itself
point.
is a curious thing because I don't know a Dunehead clan.
It might not be...
Perhaps of the
Ooh.
Dune Head is not necessarily a clan, but just a title of perhaps that's where he came from.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem is there's no orc clan
Oh.
past mine. Mine is the extent of the jurisdiction, of
There
the
were-
Jade jurisdiction.
There
There
are
are
orc
orcs.
clans in the desert.
There are orc clans in the desert. Who says it has to be a half orc from the east? Who says shamanism has to stay in the east?
That's true. Shamanism could have spread to the southern orcs as well. That is a possibility.
And we never did find any orcs.
We did.
No. They were wiped out along with the Anubai.
They were wiped out, but we knew that they were there.
Yeah.
And we know that orcs travel the Badlands. It is a very regular thing to see them.
Yeah. But we didn't encounter any. Then again, we were riding a giant snake for most of it.
That's true.
Which is the only reason why we got to my place in time.
Yes.
Yep.
If I hadn't made that decision, we'd probably be coming back to corpses.
Possibly. More corpses than we saw.
Yeah.
Fuck. And not to mention, Arya is just stressed the fuck out right now. Like,
Dude.
I honestly...
Preach to the
that's-
choir. My guy's
Let me put it this
entire
way.
family is at risk.
no. She's worried about two things right now. Well, three things. Three? Yeah, three.
Yeah, how's
she's
that
worried
date with the
about-
fox lady gonna go?
No. She's not worried about that at all. She has no mind at all for that. Fel can go out as many dates as he wants. The three things that she's worried about right now are, one, the turmoil in the east, just the fact that there's another clan attacking and making things troublesome. Two, the fact that it came from the west. This clan came from the west through the desert.
It did.
Her home is Walberg, that sits at the border of the wall, or near the border of the wall. She is worried about her home right now.
Yeah, the anxiety in Arya is throughout the entirety of the last episode was terribly plain to see.
She's getting antsy. Yeah.
Speaking of Walberg,
the third thing that she's worried about is that she has told all of you her biggest secret.
Yep.
Of being a turn terror. If we go back to the west at any point and somebody lets it slip, she is worried that she will be killed on the spot.
It's a valid fear.
Yeah.
Which is why
Whitewater literally hunted her clan down.
Which is why, unlike with Shadow, we have to be very fucking careful. We were lucky that no one wants to kill Shadow right now, that they don't care. Or that they don't believe him.
What Shadow's going through in the east is basically what Arya's going through in the west.
Yes. Yeah.
It is fucking hilarious, and I love it.
There is so much that can go wrong with our group. It is insane.
You've got the head of one of the clans in the east. You've got another potential head who might end up getting assassinated at some point if somebody wants them to. You've got one of the druids of the east, or of the west.
Mm-hmm.
You also have a well-known previous villain, essentially, villain clan, who is currently walking with your group.
Yeah.
We still have no fucking idea what's going on with Albert.
Or Stolen.
Who's hunting him.
We have no idea what's going on with Stolen either.
We have no idea what's going on with Stolen.
I know who's hunting Stolen.
Alan has, like, a lot of things that are going on around him, and that is worrying in itself.
The thing hunting Stolen is actually been introduced to each of us already. It's the poop fruit.
Ah, yeah. The poop fruit. What do we call it? The shitterine?
The shitterine.
Speaking of, like, I want to say Wahlberg is the story of how Arya and Fellwolf actually met.
Oh, yeah.
Actually quite unique.
I can't wait to hear that. But on that note, I have a question for Arya.
Uh-oh.
So, being one of Fellwolf's close friends, how does Arya feel about the journey that he is currently undertaking? Is she concerned that he is doing something he doesn't truly want to do, or does she think he truly believes in his path?
Oh no, she thinks that he truly believes in it. Does she think that it's what he wants? In a way, yes. Like, I don't... It's a little bit of an odd space to be in, because it's like, she knows that this is what Fel wants to do. She knows that Fel wants to go through this. Whether or not it's best for him, that's a different question. And one that she doesn't have an answer for yet. Which is why she's not saying much of anything at the moment. She's just being quiet and going along with it. Until the point that she sees that it's going to cause Fel to be unhappy or cause him harm, she is not going to say anything.
Alright, fair enough. Something along the similar vein, Fel, though not exactly the same question. Does Felwolf truly believe his father is dead, or does he still hold out hope that he is still alive despite going to make his ascension?
See, that's the thing, and that's basically what I've hinted on towards this entire trip to the east, all the way to where we are now. And that last little scene we had last weekend where he went over to the curator in private and had this, like, heartfelt conversation where he basically vented his stress to this curator.
Mm-hmm.
He is distraught, would be a word. He is at wit's end, because, as I said before, the choice that he's about to make affects more than just him, and it's not simply, oh, I'm going to become a leader, or I'm going to lead my people to this bright shiny future. That's not it entirely. What he has to do when he goes to Shao now is a ritual that your question is right on target for. That's what it's about. Is the reason why he's so distraught, the reason why he's so torn, is he really wants to protect his people, but at the same time he does not believe his father is dead. And if he does this, he will do something very bad to basically his father. Essentially ripping honor away from him.
Okay.
This is that choice that he's just dreading, because he knows his family's in danger, that his lands are endangered, and that he's waited for a year for any sign. But at the same point, he can't wait. So he that's why he puts on a brave face, and he tries to act nice and happy to everybody. But at night, this man is just having turmoil and nightmares about this choice that he's slowly inching closer towards having to make. Because once I make this ascension, that's it. My father is just, to all clans, considered dead.
Even if he does come back, he would be dead.
He has nothing to come back to.
Yeah. It's a tough situation.
That's why when he said to the curator, like, if I do this, I'm going to wrong the one person I respect the most.
Yeah. I mean, to basically accept that, one of your biggest influences, one of your greatest friends throughout your entire life, your biggest mentor, you're basically going to have to be the one to, basically strike his name from the clan, essentially. Not strike his name from the clan, but to strike his presence from it, whether he's dead or not.
And that's exactly it. It's not like we would dishonor him by any means. It's not about dishonor. It's about he can never go home again.
Yeah.
Because if he does, he puts his clan at risk of being destabilized. Because then, oh, well, this guy's not dead. That means his right's improper, blah, 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 blah. And then you got political bullshit, which he knows is something that is going to be bad. And he knows his dad knows this.
Mm-hmm. So here's another question. With that being stated, with the idea that he cannot return home, should Fel make his ascension, even if he never returns to the east, if he is found elsewhere and is discovered by other clans, even if he never returns, what would that spell the same destabilization of the clans? Or would it be treated differently?
Your question is actually really valid, and that's one of the things that I've thought about when it comes to the weapons, why I found the weapons. Possibly so he does not get recognized. He probably could gotten rid of the weapons, but at the same time, that's very taboo, if you will, to essentially give away your weapon. Now, the katana made sense. To give the katana specifically to his son makes sense why we found it in our own shrine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of somewhere else. Now, the whole wakizashi bit, why that was hidden from me when that's specifically needed. If there is no body, I need that wakizashi. Yeah. And I don't have a body. I don't know why the wakizashi was hidden from me. The only other assumption I would have had is that and that's one of the things that he's torn about, is maybe his father doesn't think he's ready for this. But at the same point, why would his father put his lands at risk?
Perhaps if if we're going to go down that route, I would imagine it could be something like this. Perhaps the appearance of this mystery samurai and this clan that we know nothing about. If we assume that it's, under the jurisdiction of Dragonhawk, and that Dragonhawk has been, leaving behind his weapons to basically, strip himself of that identity, it could be that this will be Felwolf's ultimate trial of, strength and willpower and leadership. If he can see his clan through this, basically this. What's the word I'm looking for?
Invasion.
Trial.
Invasion trial. This trying time of just violence and unsolicited bloodshed.
And so that's one of the other things I've thought about too. I was like, I mean, everything kind of leans up towards this being some sort of a trial, passing of the torch, if you will. No, the whole Wakizashi thing. I mean, that's still a mystery to me. Even if this was a trial, I would have still needed that in order to do anything related to Ascension. Because I don't have a body.
Perhaps recovering that was part of it. Perhaps he intended for you to find it. Perhaps he put it there as a means to test if you were worthy enough to take it from Khan, through
But
whatever
at that
means.
point, we're assuming at this point the dude that sold him the Wakizashi is Dragonhawk, which means
that's what I'm assuming for this train of thought. Is that Dragonhawk would be the one orchestrating all of it. Now, the reason for him to orchestrate it all is personally beyond me. I have no idea.
I want to bring up a question that's not too far along the lines of history, since we're talking about ascensions and whatnot. You specifically, Spazz, have learned a lot of history between Arya and myself about our past, or specifically our family's pasts.
Yes.
And how we were once technically enemies, and very bitter enemies at that.
Yes.
What is your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on the two different sides that we chose, as well as the current sites on how we, for example, I treat Arya?
As far as the relationship between Felwolf and Arya goes, when she had first learned that Arya was a Dhampir, it was shocking to her to see Felwolf so readily, so easily continue to put his faith and his trust into Arya, despite what she was and despite what this, these artifacts that Khan had were, calling her. And she basically thought it, at the time, she thought it naive to have, such blind loyalty to another person. And that's part of, and that kind of that confusion, that like the fact that she doesn't understand why Felwolf would do that plays in a lot to her own experiences, and why that she stated to Felwolf when they had that conversation last session at night during the first watch, basically saying that she lost the ability to see people as friends a long time ago, and and along with that comes being able to fully trust somebody despite their flaws, or rather despite not despite their flaws, but despite the possible threat that they could pose to her. Now, Aloria, as she has stated and as I have stated, is a character that will make her judgments of people based on their actions, not based on their blood or where they come from, but rather the ideals that they hold and how they live their lives according to those ideals.
You and I have spoken about that on the past.
We have. And that
we talked about how your character's view towards my character specifically is somewhat skewed or changed.
Right. So, with that, fuck, what was I saying? I completely lost it.
Ideas about not wanting friends, staying solo.
Right. When right. So when she heard that Arya, or rather when she figured out that Arya was a turn terror, part of this besmirched family of vampires, she was conflicted as to how to deal with it, because she knows that based on the stories she's heard, the kind of dangerous creatures that vampires can be, the kind of threat they can pose, whether they will harm on another person or not, and primarily the lack of information that Arya is not just a vampire but a Dhampir, one that feeds on dreams. She was far more concerned about her survival concerning Arya than she was about seeing Arya as like a bad person. She doesn't see Arya as a bad person because she's a vampire. Throughout that small time that they spent together, she could generally tell that Arya had a similar disposition to Felwolf in a way. They have good hearts. She can see that. She's not blind to it, and that's part of the reason why she was conflicted about it. So she kept Arya at arm's length since that realization, up until the point where we had made our shelter in the pyramid, out in the desert, and Arya had attacked us and attempted to feed off of our dreams by forcibly putting us to sleep. Everything that Aloria said to Arya in the moments after, it was 100% the truth in how she felt about the situation. She basically, like in that moment, like she was telling Arya to use her head about it and think about it logically, especially with the information that Fel had been traveling with Arya for years, that the way she feeds is not harmful to us. Therefore, for the time being, until otherwise shown, we don't have much, if anything, to worry about.
Yeah.
So now I hear that and we're gonna get to that here in a minute, because I have a question about that.
Okay.
So.
Well, I want to build off of something you said about the unique disposition that both Arya and Felwolf basically have to fight against about their race. Obviously, Arya with her vampirism and how that's generally frowned upon, and then Felwolf basically telling you, and you knowing this, that the whole orcs being looked down upon because of the choices they've made in the past. That's one of the things he wants to change, so that way they don't just aren't treated as brutish, ignorant, evil people. Basically,
right. The son should not be punished for the sins of the father. It's that entire concept.
And that's I think that's one where I was going to talk about, is like, that is, to me, one of the reasons why Arya and Felwolf get along so well. Not because they've been friends for a while, but for the same type of disposition they have to fight against. It's the exact same thing. We are hunted down or disrespected in very similar ways.
To a point, yes, you're not wrong there. They are seen as inherently evil, and that's mostly in the West. though the ripples of that are felt everywhere, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I mean, of course, it's the history of vampires, what they do, the kind of creatures that they've been, over the course of centuries, painted to be. I mean, it's little wonder.
And, I mean, you could even ask Arya about what her life was like beforehand, too. Because she still remembers bits and pieces of her childhood. She's older, yes. She's, I think, the oldest one in the group, I think. 28?
Actually,
or was it 30?
I think
Was she 30?
I think we might be tied.
Felwolf is also 28.
It's close. Yeah. I know that for sure, because... Though, no. Arya's older because you were born after the war, weren't you?
Yeah, a few years.
Yeah. Arya was born before the war.
Happened.
Arya's 30. Arya's 30.
The war happened approximately like 20 years ago or something.
24.
Like 24. No, so I was alive. I was already born, 4 years old.
Yeah. Arya was 6 years old when that happened. She still remembers bits and pieces of it. Like, this is something she still remembers and thinks back on. And something I'd rather reveal, like, in character. Because that's... Oh boy, that is something to unpack with her.
I imagine.
But she knows firsthand how bad it can be for anybody who is seen as inherently evil in the world.
Yeah.
Hence the reason why she went by the name Redwind. And that's the name she used with Fel the entire time she knew her. Like, she did not use her real name until that point. That is how severe things were.
Yeah.
She never went into Whitewater, by the way. And I think that was something part of what we decided as well.
Yeah. You avoided Whitewater when I would go inside.
Yeah, Fel would notice that she was visibly, like, uncomfortably shaking when they went to Whitewater. Like, it is bad.
I would just buy her donuts on the way out.
So, I want to build on that a bit, on Arya's like fear of ridicule and prejudice. How does Arya feel now that she has a group around her who sees her for more than her blood?
Oh, not comfortable. Not at all. She's come to the understanding that they're not going to kill her right now. That's fine. She's still not sure if Eloria will later on, if she does lose control again, which is why she asked Shadow to do that. Seeing as he was the only one that actually was awake at the time.
Yeah.
She probably would have asked Fel to, but she figures that, Fel probably wouldn't do it.
Knowing Fel, he wouldn't.
Knowing Fel, he probably wouldn't.
Well, you guys would be surprised.
Well,
you gotta remember the type of...
This way, if other people were in danger and whatnot, probably would. If it was just Arya and him, and she was trying to put him to sleep, knowing what he knows now, he probably wouldn't, from what Arya thinks. So, she would never do that. Elenan, maybe. More than likely would. She thinks Stolen would kill her on the spot. She thinks Elenan more than likely would. Stolen, probably, without hesitation. Albert, yeah, probably. She doesn't know Albert very much, and
so basically, unless proven otherwise, assume that everyone will kill you.
Yeah. No, she is basically at a point now where the only person that she really trusts not to kill her, if she loses control, is maybe Felwolf.
Yay!
Like
So
that is where she's at headspace wise.
So
I'll take a win where I can get one.
So Arya still believes that she is a threat to the people around her, despite all of the despite the pep talk that Eloria gave her about exactly what it is that she does.
She's hesitant about that part, just being around people in general. She's hesitant about it. She's not like, oh no, I'm a threat to everyone's life right now at this moment. No, she's in control at the moment. She is not hurt. She's good. The thing is, every time she gets hurt and goes down is when she starts to lose a bit of control. Hence why every time she goes down, Arch has her roll a wisdom saving throw. She is starting to lose control at that point.
On that note, how did the samurai killing himself after Arya bit him affect her? Did she immediately regret her decision or curse herself for having to do it to sate her hunger, or did it have anything to do with her hunger to begin with?
It had absolutely nothing to sate her hunger.
Okay.
Everything that she eats tastes like ash.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't matter what she eats, as long as it's sustenance. It tastes like everything else. There's the smell that she can smell, but everything she tastes always tastes like it's covered in ash, basically. Even when she drinks blood and whatnot, it tastes like ash.
Okay.
She does not enjoy it.
So I'm guessing that the bite was something. It was more so her regenerating herself than an actual.
It was
mechanism.
just out of desperation. Really is all it was.
Okay.
She was like, "Oh God, I'm hurt. I need to heal up. I also need to pick Albert up. I need to do something."
Yeah. So knowing that didn't have anything to do with her hunger, it was her, wanting to survive, and the subsequent act of the samurai slitting his throat and throwing himself off the cliff, I could see a bit of contemplation and hesitation in Arya at that moment.
She doesn't know what to think about it at this point. She's still processing, let me put it that way. Still. She's still thinking on it. She's still trying to understand what happened, what her feelings on it are. She's not in a good headspace, in the least.
I don't think a lot of us are in good headspaces right now.
Yeah, we're all kind of a little bit fucked up at the moment.
We're all fucked up in our own certain ways. Arya's having this, crisis of oh God, am I a monster or not? Felwolf's like, shit, do I, I'm gonna basically excommunicate my dad from the clan if I ascend to clan head. God only knows what Stolen and Albert are running from or having trying to deal with.
Fucking want to know.
And freaking Shadow has to deal with the knowledge that he is most likely, if not guaranteed, to be the missing son, the heir to the current head of the Snake Clan in the East, which
it's a possibility if he gets his tail back.
Which puts a huge target on his back and on the rest of us as his companions. And then there's fucking.
It would be no different than Fel traveling with us, really.
Not necessarily.
I mean, if he is confirmed to be a potential head, then that is essentially what Fel is.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think Fel is allowed to be assassinated right now.
I am.
You are?
Oh yeah, I'm more definitely a valid target.
Not while you're in, under
there. If I'm in sacred areas, there are always exceptions. Yeah. But when we're just traveling on the street, if somebody has some sort of a beef with me, then absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I mean,
There
it's
is nothing
politics,
stopping
dude.
them.
Yeah.
Dude, Eastern politics fucked me up, man. I don't know. I don't know how this crap works, dude.
Clan heads are excluded from assassination.
Yeah, I knew
I'm
that.
Well,
I'm not
it's not
yet.
a clan head yet.
Yeah, that's why if they are going to assassinate me, it's gonna be soon.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
Politics.
With like 90% of the House of Snakes dead, or the Clan of Snakes dead, it's like, okay,
Oh,
cool.
No. That was two families.
Oh, two families.
Yeah, that was
was
only
just
two families.
Two families. That
They
was
were settling a
nowhere
dispute.
clear.
Oh,
Close to what they were.
shit.
That was just a dispute between two families.
Oh, God.
Yeah. They probably have what 12, 13 other families at the very minimum.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
This is...
at least.
At
I mean,
least.
even in Clan Starstrider, we might be the face of the Wolf Clan, but we have other houses underneath of us. Like, I mean, some of the ones you guys have met already. Like you met the wolves, or not the wolves,
The Fox
the
twins.
foxes. Yeah, you've met the foxes. You've met Coma,
Yeah.
which is part of the Heroda family. Like there's a bunch of them in there. It's just you've never really spent time just moseying and perusing.
Well, we don't
I mean,
have that
even
time.
Arya's never spent that much time in the village.
Yeah.
She's only ever been there twice. This
Something
is
like
her
that.
second time.
Yeah, and like we honestly didn't even. Well, you guys didn't. You guys didn't even get to meet my youngest brother.
No.
Even though he watched each of you.
I don't like
Just
that.
saying.
I don't like
Yeah.
that.
We were sitting there, sitting down, eating. When you guys were bathing, when you were sleeping, he would have been watching.
What
Yep.
the fuck?
Hey, you gotta have people on watch, and
Yeah.
when you have outsiders in your village, you're gonna have somebody watching them.
Yeah, and my brother is my youngest brother is the one that basically just takes on that duty. But the funny thing is, I don't know if I should say that unless we're traveling, but he has a
Probably
really
should.
You two specifically?
Probably should keep it.
should keep it.
Who two
Yeah.
specifically? Wolf? Who two?
What are we talking
which
about?
two specifically?
I don't know. Maybe it has to do with you guys, sitting in an onsen or something. Somebody cleared the fog.
No, they didn't.
Jesus. Moving on.
Hey, don't worry. The day will come where the real me will princess carry you. It's okay.
I hate that segue.
Oh,
I hate how that segues into this question. So fuck you for that. Felwolf.
Yeah.
Thus far, Oloria has noticeably not confided in any one of the party members since they have met. Now that she has done so with Felwolf, what does he think of her? Has his opinion changed or has stayed relatively the same?
She's not mad at me anymore.
Oh, go on.
It's basically it. And like, as I've said before in past interviews, basically, he tends to give people a berth. Knowing people of different lifestyles have different ways of acting. You have always been basically an introvert. Your character doesn't want to deal with anybody that they don't have to, and when they do have to deal with somebody, they make the pain as quick as possible, and then they go away. The first time when you opened up to me and we were sitting around basically bullshitting there, he was like, okay, so conversation is something we can have aside from the passing joke, which he does pass at you. I mean, we've done it before.
Which she never laughs at.
Yeah, but he doesn't stop him from trying. His goal is to basically get you to laugh and crack a smile. He believes that happiness belongs to everybody. It's something that we all deserve to at least experience, even if you don't like it. And if your happiness is sitting there and by yourself in the shadows, attempting to burn things, then go do what you need to do. As long as you're not harming anybody, I generally don't have a problem with it. And so he let you do yourself. And when you open up to him and you held conversation with him, he rebutted. He sat there and had a conversation with you. He enjoys sitting there and getting to know people a little bit better, and especially those who are traveling with him, because that's how you build trust. I mean, he will trust you until you prove to him that you're not worthy to be trusted. With even punching back at when Arya jumped on Felwolf and gave him that fucking vampire hickey. He didn't really care. He knew that wasn't her will that was doing that. It was her nature, which can be fought against.
Mm-hmm.
Which he is, by the way, attempting to work on something for Arya. He's been working in secret for that. And will continue to work in secret for that.
Why do you have to do that? You just place that there, tantalizing them.
We'll let the pie waft over to you guys a little bit.
You are a dastardly son of a bitch. Why do you dangle that in front of me? Why?
Just call him a dick.
Dick.
But yeah, it specifically has to do with Arya, because she's a longtime friend of his. He wanted to do something that would be very, very important to her. And so that's what he's currently working on. As for your character, he's only known you for maybe about a month at this point.
It's been what, a month and a half at this point?
About a month and a half.
Yeah. So he's known you for a decent amount of time, but you've actively tried not to communicate with him. So as he said, he's respected your privacy, but now that you've opened up a window to start conversation, he's more than willing to reach out that hand that he always does. I mean, he's the guy that'll sit there when you're sitting there moting with your raspberry face. He'll walk over there, give you the shoulder massage, tell you to relax, give you that big dopey smile. He always does, because he tries to get everybody back onto that good side to experience that happiness. Because to him and to Arya both, I mean, there's too much negative in the world for us to sit here and wallow in things that we don't have to wallow in.
Okay. Given that statement, during that conversation with Laureate, when she had said to him, when he had told her, you may not believe in fate or God, but at least believe in your friends, and she told them that she doesn't have friends. She doesn't, that's not how she views everyone. He seemed very taken aback at that. Like of course you do. Everyone's got friends, but she's like, no, I don't. I can't. How did that hit Fel?
Well, Fel's known rogues. To him, you strike him as a very roguey individual. And for a time, until you started casting spells, that's basically what he guessed you were. Some sort of a rogue, a real weird rogue that would use a stick. But I mean, he's trained with monks, so it wasn't that far of a throw. So, in terms of you saying that you didn't deserve to have friends, he was like, he didn't think it was really shocking. He was taken aback. He's like, well, that's dumb. That was more like the assumption he had to himself. He's just like, really? I was like, nah, you can have friends. And that's basically what he said. In a certain amount of words. I mean, he sat there and basically reassured you. He's like, I mean, even if you don't want me to be your friend, I'm still going to act like it.
I mean, that's basically what Arya is doing at this point. Even though Eloria might not want her to be her friend, Arya still sees Eloria as a friend at this point in time.
I mean, you sit there in the back, you throw spells that keep me from bleeding out. I mean, you at least earned my respect in that matter. Why should I not be your friend? I mean, even if you don't, you yell at me about how my Eastern ways are weird and very foreign and I don't know why you keep saving people, why you keep asking them to not stab you when they're stabbing you. And, you know,
basically, what everything that she sees is naivety and foolishness.
exactly.
Yeah.
Even though like he doesn't care. It's like because in the end he knows that you have his back, and so he will continue to be that meat shield for you. And eventually he knows that you're not stupid. You might be introverted, you might be secretive, you might be scared to open yourself up, but you're not stupid. Eventually you're going to see that the rest of us are here for you. And those who aren't here for you, well, screw them. They don't deserve you. That's basically what it comes down to.
And that's basically how Fel sees every member of the group so far.
That's basically what it is. He's like, everybody will open up when they want to open up. I'm not going to sit here and rush things because that's part of like the training he's got. Rushing things is a good way to invite something bad to happen.
Yeah.
You got to have that inner peace, the ability to calm yourself, to control the flow, because as long as there's that balance, everything will be okay. And he's just waiting on the moment for you guys to find that balance.
He's gonna be waiting a long time for Arya. Then.
No, he won't.
No, he won't.
No, he won't. Like I said, I'm planning something.
He's planning something. You'll be broken. Celia, you will be broken before I will. I will tell you that.
You assume much.
I assume very little. I know much.
There is something specifically that Felwolf can do, and he's working on enhancing that to assist Arya.
You see, Celia.
Let me put
I
this
have
way.
one job: to drink and to know things. And I know things.
I know things.
Also, Arch, very valid.
I just yell at Spazz.
What?
Spazz did it.
Spazz did what? What did I do?
He
The
says, "I like
announcement
how
that you
there
put up."
was an announcement put up." LOL.
What doesn't that do? Doesn't that shit go automatically?
No,
No.
What?
there's no problem.
What?
Huh? What the hell? Oh shit! Oh, you mean in the Discord?
Or on Twitch or Twitter.
Isn't this shit connected to Twitter?
No.
Whatever. I'll do it next time. Now that I know. You do assume much. Oh shit. When it comes to the order in which I think characters will begin to open up to each other, I don't assume much. I know much. I know very much.
Let me put it this way. At this point in time, Arya might open up to Fel a little bit more. Maybe. It's a hard maybe.
Hard
to
maybe.
Eloria and Elenan. Like, those
wouldn't
are the
expect her
three
to.
people that she might actually talk to.
I wouldn't expect her to open
Shadow
up to
maybe
Aurora.
as well, actually, now that I think about it. But, like, that's it. She won't open up to a lot of people.
I would expect her to open up to Felwolf sometime soon, more so than than she has. With anyone else, not necessarily. I guess I could kind of see why she might maybe with Eloria, but here the thing.
Let me
about
put it this way:
Eloria-
she might only to Eloria because of the similarities in the magic they wield. That's about it. And because of their heritage. That's about it.
Possibly. The thing about Eloria is, as we've stated before, the polar opposite of Felwolf. If she basically desires to know something, she will do all she can in that moment to know it. Or do all she can, to know what it is she wants to know in the immediate future. And that was made abundantly clear in session 1 when she saw you walking on that damn wall, and she was like, That ain't right.
Need to know.
That ain't right. I want to know. And so I made you walk into a pit and bang your head on the ground.
By the way, I fucking love that. That was hilarious.
That was good. And see, here's the thing. Arya was so damn sus. It could have been explained away so easily. She might still be, a little sus of it, but it would have been more easily explained away.
Arya is kind of street smart, not as much as you might think, and she is very much not book smart. She does not know that there are magics like that out there. She does not.
She could make it up. That's a possibility. You can always lie. That you don't have to go off of everything you know.
She tried. She tried to lie.
Not really. She tried. She failed spectacularly.
Okay? She is not good at it. You think that she could just pull this shit out of her ass? Fuck no.
Well, maybe. I mean,
no, she is not good about thinking on her fucking head like that. She's got a lot of wisdom. She's been through a lot and knows, like, some things about the world and knows what she can or cannot get away with most of the time. The shit that happens, she is not good about thinking on her fucking feet like that. She is not.
I'm just gonna say she seemed pretty damn good when we were at Babylon and decided she was just gonna reach her hand through. That was pretty smart.
No, that was an act of desperation, and she had one seen that your magic went through without any issues. She already knew that magic could interact with the barrier. That was the thing. She knew magic could pass through. Okay, why can magic pass through? Well, because the barrier's magic too. Okay, what if I just cloak myself in fucking magic? So she tried to reach in. She didn't have far to go. She wasn't going to risk it. And then from there, it was just experimentation. It was not her being book smart at all. It was just her learning from mistakes. Literally. Because she's been there twice now. The first time they tried testing the barrier like they did beforehand. Physical interaction and whatnot. Nothing worked. Okay, but magic went through. She didn't test that last time. That's a good way to go. Let's test it again. That was the only reason she was able to do that.
Fair. Still think that was a pretty good move, though.
It was also me kind of pushing it a little bit as well, more so than just the character. I figured that out, not Arya in general.
Yeah.
But still, yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot of shit. I've got 1, 2, 3,
we have
4,
so much
5 pages of
baggage.
backstory.
We have our group has so much damn baggage. It's not even fun. It's not even funny.
It is so much fucking baggage.
There is so much to go through, and it's going to take ages to get through our backstories and come to a full understanding of just the kind of people that we all are. We have a general
idea. I ask
idea.
for something better. I love this shit.
Yeah.
This is my favorite part of D&D. It is the roleplay, and to have so much of it available, and to be able to poke at it slight bits and pieces at a time. I fucking love it.
The three of us, and I would say the next in line would be probably Shadow. We have the most to say in RP moments, I would think. Stolen and Albert, I think, have said the least. Ellen is somewhere in the middle. But just because, I mean, most of what's been going on concerns one of the four of us.
Yeah, I do find myself speaking quite often.
Well, we're in the East.
We're in your territory, though.
We are
That's
dealing
to be
with
expected.
your shit. Yeah,
we're dealing with your plot line right now. This is your time. That's the major part of it. there are bits and pieces where we get to play a part. Arya only because she knows you very well. Aloria because she's had a lot of interaction with you lately and is starting to kind of poke holes at you, and she's very inquisitive. Shadow because he's figuring out, oh shit, I'm in this fucking shit show too.
Yeah, this concerns me too now.
Oh shit. But like Stolen and Albert, they're kind of a little bit more quiet, and I no fault at all to them. Like they've got shit of their own, and we'll get to that eventually.
Yeah,
sure.
all will come in due time. I have no doubt that they will have their moment to lead the story in a similar way that Fel has been.
Oh, absolutely.
Honestly,
like
I cannot. I'm loving, absolutely loving going through the East and seeing this different side of the world compared and how they live.
The opposite of what the West is like. It is.
Oh yes.
Interesting.
And I've said this time and again. Felwolf, and by proxy, the East, traveling through the East, is going to have a huge impact. Huge on Aloria's outlook. How exactly it'll impact it, don't know yet. I just know that it will, and it'll be an interesting growth to experience.
You'll be able to grow a lot whenever we finally start moving along, and we see me get assassinated.
Oh my god, dude! If you die, that's it. Like, we can't.
There's a reason. As soon as I get to level 5, I'm looking for fucking diamonds. Fuck you, bitch.
Yeah.
You get out of this that easy.
Nine diamonds.
Arch and chat sitting there.
Yep. Shush, he says.
You ain't getting out of this that easy. I fucking gonna get revivified. You ain't getting out of this story.
Yeah, we're. I mean, I have a fucking baseline.
I'll come in like Mercy. Heroes never die.
Yeah, I have that shit baseline. That is a base part of the Wildfire Druid. Is at level 5, you just get revivify, and it's amazing.
Yeah. Druids and clerics are like a fucking healing wombo combo. I love it.
I can't wait to see how I do bring people back from the dead. What does that mean?
Oh god.
What the fuck does that mean?
You gotta remember, this is a custom setting, my dude.
Oh god, that's true.
And that's something else that I wanted to talk about, is like the amount of fighting we've done. We've encountered different things to fight against different things, and I know the spazz and so you've actually brought this up to me in private at times. We would be joking, but the amount of damage my character is taking.
Oh my god,
has, like,
it's
a lot of scars.
It terrifies me. It legitimately terrifies me, because you and Stolen are our front line, and then Shadow and Elenin can kind of weave in where they need to, but their DPS, for the most part, their damage, like that's, dude.
It was like, I'm gonna end up looking like some sort of like, I don't know, like I can't remember what series it was from. Outlaw Star. The dude just covered in scars.
I don't know what that is.
You know what you're gonna remind me of though?
What's that?
You're gonna remind me of Whitebeard from One Piece.
I've never watched One Piece.
Me neither.
It is literally Whitebeard, one of the 4 warlords of the seas, who is covered in scars from head to toe, but not a single one on his back. Literally, like the father of his ship, and who goes around protecting his sons, goes to war to get one of his children back.
Legend. Absolute unit.
Absolute fucking unit, too.
I don't have to go to war to get one of my children back.
One thing I did tell you...
He's literally taking an army on his own at one point, and just everybody's attacking him. They can't take this guy down.
There we go, yeah. Healing says healing isn't going to prevent scarring.
And that's what I was basically, that's what I was touching on. It's like, Felwolf probably has a great deal amount of scars at this point.
Yeah, healing is basically accelerating the body's, like, ability to heal
it's
itself.
not just removing the wound entirely. There's going to be
which
going
is
to be
why
proof
you
that
have
it
to
was
break
there.
and re-break the leg beforehand, right?
Yeah, that fucked me up a bit.
I know we had people squirming in chat when we were describing it.
That had me fucking squirming. Holy
I was
shit!
honestly, I am so glad. I'm so glad I had you describe that to me.
Yeah, because I had to reach back in my past to remember the sounds and the feeling because it's very like what's the word, ephemeral for it. You feel every crack, every twitch, every pop.
Yeah, and I wanted that perfectly encapsulated.
Lucy's over there fainting in chat.
Yeah, like ugh. Prevent scarring, but there will be times that it won't work.
Yeah, again.
Well,
like
obviously, like, if you
like
lose your freaking hand, just the healing word ain't gonna do nothing.
Yeah.
No, you need regenerate for that, and that is 7 levels, bro.
I'll tell you when.
I will tell you when.
It's basically like your body's natural ability to heal. Most of the time, your body will have like a slight scar, maybe. Your body gets small cuts and whatnot all the time. Your body heals that shit pretty easily. But when you get big cuts and big scrapes,
losing fingers and
where
toes.
your arms are like
and that's basically
almost halfway through,
like
it's gonna leave a scar.
We had a very big situation like that in one of the last playthroughs where when I shot the great bow that was technically not even trained for.
Yeah, you had a chance to just fuck up your hand.
Yeah, and like the first time I got really lucky because I crit, and we were like, "Oh shit, yeah!"
Which,
and then
thank you for reminding me because that is something that we do need to go back on eventually at one point. Because your sister fired the bow.
Yeah.
No one has to know.
Yeah.
And so like I almost lost my finger because I fucked up really bad though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she fucked up really. Her hand was messed up.
Her hand was bleeding and bloody.
Her entire arm was fucked up.
Her entire
forearm and her palm.
But that's what I'm saying is basically what it came down to in terms of healing. Like things like that. If I would have fucked up like crit fail style or something, I probably would have lost a finger.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have been something that the normal healing wouldn't have accounted for. But as for my character as he stands right now, it's like the dude has taken a massive amount of punishment, being the one of the two frontliners, the main frontliner, especially after that battle with Khan, where I just turned into a fucking punching bag.
Yeah. Oh, God. Dude, I will never forget that. I will never forget that fight.
Oh my God.
That was insane.
Arch did mention that there is something that we can do to regrow limbs, because we can regrow Shadow's tail.
Yeah.
That one would have had bad things, but
I probably would have lost
you're
a hand or
under a
something,
roll
yeah.
at a certain point. Oh no.
Yeah.
You're
So
lucky,
if I
Fel, that you didn't
Yeah,
lose
I
your
was
fingers.
super lucky, is what it was. Yeah.
Super lucky.
I'm assuming if it would have been like probably like a 7 or less, I probably would have lost a finger, and then anything less like a crit 1, it would have probably me just lose the whole fucking hand.
One-handed
dude?
samurai. Oh God.
Yeah, right. That sounds like something out of a friggin' anime, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, there is Baiken. Baiken is a one-armed samurai.
Half-handed samurai, hell yeah.
Half-handed samurai. I know, like, well, technically, yeah, it's like my character is a dual wielder. Obviously, we've seen him use both swords at this point. Well, now he uses a sword and spear, but that's more out of necessity than personal choice. Speaking of bows, enjoy the WIP, Phil. Oh, did you send me something?
Uh-oh. Lucy's working on shit.
Oh, she drew it. Oh, okay.
She drew that
looks
moment?
really cool. Yeah, she drew. No, she drew the bow that I gave her in my campaign.
Okay.
Oh.
That looks really cool. Oh, you're doing your whole character and everything. All right.
Okay.
Okay. I see her creative juices got flowing again.
Nice.
It's always a good feeling.
Alright.
But what's the next question? What we got next?
Yeah, so moving on from that, here's a general question for the both of you. We've had, what is it, about like a month and a half now that since the party has met, and we've fought and, bled and had a little bit of inner turmoil together.
Yeah.
So what do each of your characters feel about this, this group that, has gathered, together, and where we're going, and exactly how do they, are there any members of the party that intrigue their characters specifically, or is it just they see them as, they're our allies for now? They, better to have them around than to not.
Well, I mean, no, I know from my character's perspective, this is something that I've put some thought into, and for him, the fact that you guys, you could dip at any point that you wanted to, but instead you decided to just sit in and travel with this fucking samurai dude that is effectively becoming the impromptu guide. And you're helping him with this entire situation, which has nothing to do with you in any way. And he sees this, and he's like, this is something that speaks volume about character, about what a person is on the inside. And this gives him a mindset of respect towards each of the people in his party. He is going to do something should this adventure that we're currently on to aid his people end in success. He is going to do something for this party that is one of the greatest things that his people can do.
Okay. Arya, what about you?
It's a little bit tougher for her because she's hard of trusting anybody in general.
Fully understand
that. Yeah, I wonder why. She has insane respect for the people in the group. Like she like Fel has immeasurable respect for them, coming along with them and fighting with them, and getting themselves involved in all of this going on. She, depending on the person, it ranges very from extreme respect to the point of, okay, I'm probably willing to die for this person because I know it's going to be good for everybody, to I'm concerned about this person. And then there's Albert.
And then there's Albert. I like then there's Albert.
The issue is based off of his design. She is worried about him, both for him and from him, if that makes any sense.
Care to elaborate?
I'll elaborate a little bit. You won't get everything. Let me put this thought in your head, and then we'll go to Arch's question because he actually has one, as well. And Albert's design, with his robes and everything like that, it reminds me and Arya of the Turn Terror's colors and house to a certain point.
Okay, so there's a resemblance, basically.
Slight, yes. And that's something that she's noted.
I see.
Okay.
She's not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah,
All right.
there's that.
All right. Let's go ahead and move on to Archlord's question. Celia, do you feel comfortable sharing the contents of the letter? Also, how was your experience with Ketsuku?
That
Do I
was a
want
fun
to? Do
time.
I want to?
See, now answer this as Arya. Don't answer this as Celia wanting to fucking blue ball me. Answer this as Arya.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Would
Um,
the question is like it would be more specifically directed towards who would Arya share?
Right, who? Which I think would probably be Felwolf, personally. Just because he's the one that she knows the best.
no. No,
Oh, really?
she would not share it with Felwolf at all. Just because of the contents itself, more than anything.
Okay.
She might share it with Aloria. She might share it with Shadow.
Okay.
Maybe Elenan. Hasn't really gotten a like good grasp of him yet, though.
I don't think that's gonna be the wisest choice. Don't know.
Yeah.
Just something about Elenin doesn't seem like he would be a good advice giver in the world of women.
That's not the advice. That's the thing.
Elenin is definitely not the type of person to, not keep secrets from his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Probably wouldn't tell Stolen or Albert, just because I feel
Definitely
like
not Albert.
they would probably make a joke about it.
Probably.
Yeah.
They're the bros of this group.
I love it though.
It is amazing.
Those two are like the frat party members.
Yeah. Honestly, I
It's
love that
funny.
little dynamic that they've accumulated over the course of these sessions. It's like they're the ones in the background. They're like cracking the jokes, doing the little bets, and like having these little moments with each other.
It really does feel like we're a bunch of adventurers going on an adventure, and then there's two college jocks.
Yeah, there's just a couple of jocks tagging along for the ride. Like, who the hell are these idiots?
Oh, it's so good.
Like, who the fuck?
It's so perfect.
Like, how did they get here? Like, what?
It's like they're over there sitting there playing ball tag in the background, drinking steins.
Yeah, stolen.
Oh my God, no.
Well, I mean, they are the two. They are the two that you have decided to give your liquid J to. Both have passed out drunk from it.
It is always proven to be a very comical scenario, has it not?
Anything. And what did I say? What did I say at the
I-
beginning of the campaign? You can go back and watch the VOD. I said Albert, Stolen, and Shadow will be the ones to be the most comical in this campaign. So far, two of those have been correct. Those two, I swear to God.
I argue that your character has also been the butt of many jokes.
That is true.
I mean, that is true. That is very true.
The only reason, though, is because my character is what you could equivalate to as a
Victim
somewhere in
of
between,
unfortunate circumstance.
somewhere in between a tsundere and a kudere is basically where my character
I
sits.
don't know what either of those.
Don't worry
Lucy
about
said
it.
ditz!
A ditz, an anxiety teen? What the fuck, guys? Man, I built this character with all this backstory, with good reasons for the way she thinks, with and conflicting feelings about where she stands in this group, and it's
Screw
like,
your plot!
like what the fuck? Anxiety teen, get the hell out of here, dude. Come on.
It's actually very. You can imagine
Oh my
Gloria
God.
being what's her name from fucking Twilight.
Oh
Do
no!
not, never, ever compare my character to a Twilight
You
character
can fucking picture it right
ever
now.
in my.
head. Oh
No, no. This is not happening. It is you.
Oh
Son of a
my
bitch.
god. Oh god.
Fucking sons of bitches.
Same hair and everything, he says.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's fucking great, dude.
How many trees are around us right now, Arch? How big is the forest we're in?
Burn it all down.
Jesus Christ.
Oh god.
I'm not okay with any of this. No, I can see how Aloria can be the butt of a lot of jokes because out of everyone, she has the most serious and edgy demeanor. Out of everyone.
You are more of an edgelord in character than Shadow is.
Right, that's exactly right. And
I don't understand how either. Like that's the weirdest part.
You will learn how whenever Aloria ends up fucking opening up, if it ever happens.
I'm just saying, you get kudos for making the first edgelord druid I've ever seen.
Look, Arch can say. Listen, Arch can attest to this. He told me when we were talking about this a few weeks ago. We were talking about this, and I said, all I hope is that I don't basically play too hard into this like edgy kind of character stereotype that I've gone with. It's like I don't want to be that classic edgy rogue. Oh, you never understand. Like I don't want to be that.
You're not though. That's the thing. You're not.
I feel like I've done a pretty good job thus far of keeping it edgy, but keeping it reasonable. Reasonable edge is what I'm looking for, and I think I've done that. And Arch even told me this.
You've done a very good job of that.
And
yeah,
Arch, Arch and I talked about this, because there was one of the session. There was
edgy druid and socially challenged.
Yeah, exactly. There was one after one of the sessions. I forget which one it was, but basically I had basically begun to question like exactly how I was playing the character, and I went to Arch, and he said, "You're doing fine. You are doing absolutely fine with the character that you have built. I see no problem with it. If anything," he basically said what you said, Phil. He said, "If anything, I find your character's your personality interesting, given that she is a druid, and this druid circle specifically that she comes from is a very interesting take on druidism." And that's what he told me. And he sent me this GIF. You can probably see it somewhere in Team Epic or in wherever in one of those channels. It's basically the GIF of this dude. It was like the king, like George or something. This actor in a play.
Oh.
And it was like, I wasn't aware that was something a person could do. Like that thing.
From Hamilton, yeah.
Hamilton. Is that Hamilton?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, basically that's what he posted.
Lucy
and
says
like,
reasonable edge sounds wrong.
Listen, Lucy, don't question my shit, okay? Just don't worry about it. We're fine. Of course, you're Sandy all the time. Sandy.
All the time.
I'm a perfectly sane individual. It's Arch you got to worry about.
Oh yeah. It's
Phil, shut the fuck up right now. Shut the hell up.
That's what you would.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, fucking dying.
That's all the time that we have.
Alright, guys, we're heading.
No. We're only at an hour 42, guys. This cannot be where we fall apart. This cannot be
we're not
it.
falling apart. We're having a fucking blast. He's like getting roasted.
Oh my god. I swear. I understand. Fucking. I understand Brian so much right now.
Yeah.
Arch says, what about my second question?
Oh,
your second
How
question.
was the experience with Ketsu?
Katsuki, yeah.
Katsuki.
How was it? How was it, Arya?
Ketsuki.
Tell us in great detail. How did it make you feel?
Me as a player, it was
Dr.
fucking hilarious and I loved it. Arya.
Yeah.
That is something. She's. Mm.
She's what?
It's grunts of approval is what it is.
No, it's grunts of I don't know. Like, as a player, I loved it. It was hilarious. I am absolutely fucking bringing this back up at some point.
Oh, you better.
Don't think you're getting away with this shit.
Fucking better.
I'm just saying. I enjoyed showing Fell's flaw with the shark girl.
Oh, we knew that was coming. We
fucking knew. Ever since Fell didn't know what the fuck panties were.
Yeah, and I hate
that was fantastic.
And I hate that I had to be the one to like basically slap him on the wrist for that, and that Arya just did nothing.
I didn't know what the fuck was going on. She just saw Fell with that. I'm like, what the fuck?
He just has these pair of fucking like lace panties.
Yeah, just these lacy wrist
He's
panties.
just like,
It's
what
like,
are these? He's holding up, inspecting them.
Yeah, and it's like, good God. And that's why
she got like stun locked because of that. She was like,
Eloria was just like, is this really one of the people who I've thrown in my lot with? Is this what we're working with? I'm not even kidding. That is what was going through her head. Like, this is who I've thrown in my lot.
I've had some fucking Samurai Jack level training, but I don't know what panties are.
Dude, it's and the fact that I had to be the one to walk over and say, "Don't touch this shit," have some fucking shame. And then he's like, "What? Can I touch the pill?" I'm just like, "Are you serious right now?"
Arch has a point. I am an orc, basically, that has not seen a lady in that way.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing.
No, you don't.
God. No! Now all you need is fedora.
Milady. Gotta put on a Ford accent.
Give myself one of those fucking rice hats, dude.
No, give yourself a Ford accent. Just start talking like this, Get real country with it.
Oh, you need me to bring out my Georgia? I'll bring out my Georgia.
You Georgia?
Let me learn you something real quick, boy.
I'm learning something real quick.
I'm gonna be on you. I'm gonna be on inside you.
What the fuck?
I'm gonna make you feel good on the inside.
I'm gonna learn you something. I'm gonna learn something real good in there.
I'm gonna show you my radiator.
I ain't never seen a woman naked.
No, get the fuck out.
I ain't never seen a woman naked. I don't even know what the hell they got.
I don't know what biddies are.
What the hell is a biddy?
Is that one of them Chevys?
2022 Chevrolet Biddy.
Now introducing the new Ford Colon
with the V now with a V8 turbo.
He said
turbo
The
diesel.
Tiger Lady and the Shark Lady were not the right choice.
Oh no!
Probably not.
Yeah,
It was hilarious.
in our defense, Arch, at this point, the last three women you've thrown at us have been all beast folk, and one of them you forced my character to go on a date with.
Yeah. Well, no, he didn't force you. You made that choice.
To help us out, yeah.
Yeah, but it was still your choice, and your choice alone. You can't blame him for that.
I will make sure I take that into account next time. Thank you.
Yeah,
it was all you. You could have paid, but you didn't.
Let me put it this way, Arch, about the last question in regards to Arya's mindset. She has no experience in what the fuck is going on. And this is the first time she's ever interacted with, any beast folk, now that I think about it. So this is something she's going to take a while to process.
Oh wait, well, the process whether or not she wants to fuck the spider lady.
He says, "I loved Albert's reaction."
Yeah, that was great. He walked up to her, said she called him a big boy, said "fuck work," and walked away.
I love that. It was so good.
He's like, "Nope, I'm gonna nope right out of there real quick. Don't like that." He's like, I'm with the Lord on this one. We don't got time for this nonsense. Oh
Meanwhile, in my corner,
you're literally just having a fucking... Your brain is just blue screening. Yeah,
blue screening.
literal blue screening. Failed.exe has stopped working. Please reset your system. You're gonna have to update your OS, dude. Like,
it was a small miracle my character just did not accidentally grab something.
Oh my god.
oh my lord.
It's so much fun though.
Also,
I've been
what has
loving
been your
this.
reaction or thoughts to Mao and the individual he was speaking with? The small woman, I'm assuming is what he's referencing.
Yes.
You two should kiss.
As a player, I found it amusing to see this small woman put Mal on the back step. I wasn't there in character. So I don't know. I'm currently meditating on this rock out front because I want to feel the land around me because this shit is weird and cool.
I think that's something that Arya's been enjoying a lot too. The land here reminds her of the East in a fashion. Especially the more wild parts of it.
We are in the East.
The West.
I was about to say, come on, man!
Excuse me.
The East reminds her of the West in a fashion. Oh, God. If I could just fucking talk for once.
Impossible.
No, definitely not impossible.
I will say that I can see exactly where Ari's coming from. Having traveled the West has a lot of different mannerisms, but the generic way people act towards each other is pretty much the same. And the relationship is quite similar to something you would see in like the marketplace of like Whitewater.
Arya comes from a smaller town too. She's not from a large town. She's also got a very solid connection with the wilderness as well. Like she lives near the Nightingale Woods. Like that is where she feels comfortable. Be here, she feels comfortable. Like it feels like home.
I haven't actually asked about your deity.
Yeah, no one's asked.
We're gonna save that conversation for in-game. That's something that was best left to that.
Oh, yeah, no, I would 100% tell you to save that for in-game.
Yes, because I remember a while back, Arch shared the image of your divine symbol, your talisman, and I was like, oh shit, that's the 3 moons of Itis. Oh, that's a raven or whatever that is. That's pretty cool. Or nightingale or whatever it might be.
She has that symbol on her hammer, if you've noticed it, and on her shoulder pads.
The raven, not the whole thing. Yeah, I noticed the bird.
The one with the 3 moons is what she wears around her neck.
Yeah, which I thought was pretty dang cool. I was like, oh damn, it's got to do with all the moons. That's cool.
Literally every time she's cast a spell, she reaches up to that necklace and holds it.
Yep. That's
every single time. Yep.
Oh god.
Well, I mean, she can. The thing is that clerics are fun because you can cast without having a specific focus. It's weird. Because you can have your hammer be your focus. Anything with the holy symbol on it will work, essentially.
I'm pretty sure Druids work in a similar way. Specific. I think it has to be like. I think it might have to be like shaped in a specific way or properly prepared, but
technically all it has to be is something natural. So you can have a string of mistletoe, you can have a totem made out of wood, a quarterstaff. Like generally,
so like if I just had like a gnarled branch or something, like a thick gnarled branch, that could be.
I mean, yeah, you could even have the totem on your person or whatever, and not even in your hand, and it still technically counts.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're able to focus on that item and your focus is not being obfuscated, you're generally fine.
Yeah.
It's a fun time playing with spellcasters.
Oh yeah,
Honestly,
absolutely.
like this is, I think the second time I've played a cleric. The first time I didn't get past level 5, I think it was. No, 6. I got to level 6, and then our campaign was over at that point. But I've really enjoyed kind of like a heavy spellcaster that clerics are. Like they get armor, so they have like a little bit of toughness to them, and they're a little bit more beefy, but they're also like full-blown casters too.
Yeah, clerics have some, in my opinion, one of the cooler spell lists. So clerics and druids just have a fantastic spell list that they can choose from. As far as utility goes, I think the cleric probably has more utility than the druid does. As far as like what the spells they have access to. Now, as far as what the druid can do, it's pretty crazy. Of course, it has to be dealing with natural things. With the cleric, it's their stuff works in multitudes of situations. It can be in an urban environment. It can be in a natural environment. It can be completely somewhere in between. It could be anything. Druids are more at an advantage in the wild, in nature, where it's more surrounded by that.
Druids are strong in basically 2 categories. Number 1 is nature. So that would be all evocation spells that are basically nature-based, so fire, water, earth, etc. And then the second category that druids excel more than others in would be illusion. They are excessively good with illusion, due to the point that their illusion spells can combo with things that, from their nature background, like Druid's Grove, that make as I've explained to you before, Spaz, to make this really potent defensive location.
Yeah, I was going through the spell list during the level up process when I was choosing my spells, and I was looking at it all. I said, Druid Grove, what is that? And I looked at it and I was like, holy crap.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that you can combo it with other spells is great.
Yeah, it's insane.
But Arch has a question for Felwolf. When you rolled that natural 20 on perception, what was it that first came to your mind that you might see, and did the shinobi that was there meet or beat that kind of expectation? Also, did you fear for your party or life during that moment? Well, number 1, the fact that I got a nat 20 about maybe shit my pants.
After the rest of that night?
Yeah, exactly right. After the rest of
After I stole one of them from you?
Yeah, and that too, you motherfucker. I forgot about that.
That double nat 20?
Literally stole my nat 20, yeah.
I didn't even mean to either.
Dick.
Dick.
What was first came to your mind? Like, when I saw the individual...
what did you think you might see?
Well, I knew it was an assassin, number 1. I had an 80% chance of being right on that, and I was right. 20% chance it was going to be some rando or some beast. But I knew that with the stuff that's been going on lately, there was going to be somebody out in the woods. And the fact that it was part of the Snake Clan, I mean, that kind of threw me for a loop. I thought it would have been probably from one of the randos that we've been having a fight. But it's from a Snake Clan, it was more of a boon. Which, as we saw in the episode, I basically called it right on hand. I was like, oh, you're Snake Clan. And I called it, and they were. In terms of description and how they appeared, is nothing less than what I expect the Snake Clan to be. Essentially, they are like what a real sniper is. I mean, they're a person who sits there in the same spot for weeks on end. They have to shit on themselves, piss on themselves to get the job done. But in the end, they get the job done. And so that's basically what I thought of when I see the Snake Clan. It was basically represented pretty spot on. In terms of fear for party or life, no. Because the thing is, they would not have showed themselves. The moment that they showed themselves to me, I knew that there was no threat. Assassin doesn't show himself to you, then stab you in the neck. No, they're just going to fucking throw something at you and stab you in the neck. As soon as he showed himself, the threat was basically gone. And it's not like I would have been able to do much about it anyway at that point. I mean, we're relatively low level, and this individual basically with that kind of stealth is more than likely going to be a very strong individual in terms of skill alone, let alone whatever powers these shinobi actually have. I know one thing that did cross my mind briefly is when you were describing the cracks in their like ankles and knees, and when they were getting up from the spot, being in that spot for so long. First thing I thought of was undead. I didn't know if this guy was undead or not. And then as soon as he started basically talking, I was like, all right, no, he's fine. That's basically it.
What makes you think that he would have been an undead?
The sounds undead make are basically unmistakable. The bones rattle, zombies moan. There's just something that's universal with undead. No matter what spell you choose, it's basically unavoidable. The only circumstance where this changes is if you deal with certain types of undead. Things like liches, vampires, things like ghouls, ghosts. These things do different types of things. But the fact that this individual moved slowly and he rattled a little bit or crackled a little bit gave me a brief assumption that he might have been undead until he spoke.
So your thought was that an undead could be employed by the Snake Clan?
Well, yeah. Well, it wasn't even about Snake Clan at first until he described the symbol that I was looking at.
Okay.
Because we didn't know about the symbol before.
Gotcha.
The fact that this individual is making these sounds, the reason why I immediately thought of this, I was like, well, what if all these dudes we've been fighting are dead people? They don't really have to fucking worry about feeding them, paying them, or the individuals fearing for their life.
Well,
I mean, that is a possibility.
Not to mention, hold on. Not to mention, we literally near my home have a ravine where there's an ancient army battlefield just full of corpses.
I mean, think again though. That samurai that Arya had bitten basically was like, no, fuck this. I'm gonna kill myself and yeet myself into the chasm because I don't want whatever the fuck she has.
Well, like I said, it could have been a lieutenant or something like that. Obviously, you need people to command these types of undead, and like I said, it turned out to not be undead. I'm just saying, all of this was racing through my mind within those few seconds. This is basically how my brain generally thinks. I try to cycle through possibilities as quick as possible. That way, I can react as quick as possible. Any other questions from chat? See, there's a few of you out there. Or Spaz, any questions for you?
I am
Arya?
trying to think. Think if I have any other good ones. Oh, Foul.
Yeah.
When you and Aloria spoke, the first night that we were on the road, when she had described Gil to you and basically voiced her concern for what he was and what he did during their interaction, what was Foulwolf thinking as she was describing the scenario to him? What does he think Gil is or could be based on what she had told him?
Well, for him, he has met many different types of sentient races. The fact that he couldn't really recall what type of race this individual was just means it's generally something he'd never really interacted with or one he never did. In terms of personality, he really didn't give any threats off that would flag him for a potential threat. It was more of like a casual conversation between two people, which and that's exactly right, Arch. Even with a crit, and that's the thing, is like he didn't give off any threat. You guys had a nice casual conversation during the night. You guys separated ways with at least a decent modicum of respect. You guys, there was no real negative in its entirety to the conversation. Now, whether or not the conversation was suspicious to begin with, that's up for debate. But in terms of my character, that's not something he's really worried about, is suspiciousness. If there's no validation in being suspicious, then why the hell would I worry about it?
Yeah. I will make clear in case like you thought otherwise. All you know, I probably shouldn't have messed with that. And all you know about that interaction was that the both of them had a conversation, not necessarily what the subject of it was about. So that is still a mystery to you. All that you were told was that they had spoken, and then the last words that Gil had said to her and why that concerned her. But to expand on that, because outside of like a minute or two after that session, we didn't get to talk about it much, but during that entire, as players, during that entire interaction between Arch and I as Gil and Aloria, what were your thoughts as players as that scene was playing out? Like that.
I thought it was a very nice and wholesome moment, honestly.
And that's basically what I was saying. Is like when it comes to the wholesome moments, I tend to take my step out and let those moments be. For me personally, I try to stick, and Arch knows this very well. I try to stick to the tactical mindset, which is where my strong suit generally lies. In terms of this tender moment you had with a stranger, I mean, it was RP, it was respectable, and that's basically where my thought process ends with that.
Okay.
I mean, other than it being a very wholesome moment, I thought it was kind of like a little bit of a push from somebody outside the group, which at that point I felt like maybe Aloria might need. Maybe a couple people in the party might need.
Well, I would say.
Turns out this person's Lori's dad.
No, absolutely not.
Current theory that I have going for it is one of two things.
Oh.
God of some kind of nature aspect.
Okay.
Life, death, anything really. Or it's a spirit of the land.
A spirit of a
something that Fel probably knows about more than anything.
Well, that's the problem. Is Fel doesn't know. With a critical, he does not know, and the only spirit of that area would have been Susu.
Right. Unless it's another one.
Well, there is no other one. Not to the knowledge passed down to him.
Exactly. Susu might know about it, but we can't talk to Susu right now.
Well, technically you can, but...
What is he, everywhere?
He's one with everyone.
He's always watching.
He's always watching.
God, as if we need another character that's always watching us. Good God.
No, you do have to be within the confines of my territory, but for the most part, yeah. Susu himself, question for anyone. Did any of you fear that someone would try to search or remove objects from dead Shinobi combatants? Also, a question for anyone. How do you feel learning that the East has some form of indentured servitude? That's something that was brought up the other day. Was somebody made the comment that the East had slaves, and why would I be upset with Oasis and their slavery?
Yeah,
I did make the correction that the East does not actually have slaves. There is servitude, but that goes with any form of kingdom. What's a servant to a kingdom in the West? You know what I mean? It's basically the same thing. You're paying this person a relatively small amount of money to basically give you food and wine. It's indentured servitude. Otherwise, if you're not paying them, that's when it becomes slavery. There is a small difference, and I know that I think it was one person of the group really brought a concern about that, which I tried to immediately squash because, as I said, it would be a character confliction if there was slavery in my territory. My character would abolish that shit immediately.
True, especially in your territory too. Your clan specifically tries to move away from even the indentured servitude, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, well, what I'll say is we treat them a little bit better than the rest of clans treat them,
Yeah.
which is one thing I did warn you guys when we started going to some of the other clans' territory. You might see the rest of these in a rougher shape, but at the same time, they're still getting paid. They're just treated with less respect. And that's actually quite similar to what we were talking about earlier with you two about my campaign. How in the Elvish territory, you're generally treated with less respect if you're male. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's basically the same freaking thing. They're not slaves; they're just treated with less respect. And in my territory, that's even more restrained, where we do treat them with respect. We do pay them a lot more than they would normally get paid, and we keep them safe. We give them homes, and not just hovels to live in. You know what I mean? Like the slave shacks in Oasis, where they barely had a roof. It's just like 2x4s. They're jankily pinned together. There is a massive difference between the East and the South.
Did you fear that anybody or that somebody would try to search or remove objects from the dead shinobi combatants?
For a time, I did, especially Stolen.
Really?
Yeah, Stolen specifically because he was the type of character that just gives off the I really don't give a fuck vibe.
I don't feel like he would, though.
He seems like a character that acknowledges, when there's needs to be subtlety and a respect.
Well, yeah,
needs to be had. But also, he is a bounty hunter. Let's not forget.
Yeah,
And
that's
out of all of us, he was the one dude that was gonna to do it.
Yep.
That's basically what I'm saying. He was the only one with the highest amount of risk of having that happen.
Yeah, I think Stolen would be the only one that I can think of as well. Even though it's a low chance. I can't see him doing it. But out of everybody, yeah.
I don't think Stolen would actively do something that would put the party in danger.
No, I don't think so either. Like, but out of everybody, I think he would be the one to make that mistake.
And that's basically what I was saying. Is it comes down to, he says, did you feel or fear that somebody would try to search or remove? Me, no. But if they did, it would be Stolen.
Okay.
Yeah, I again, don't think he would do it intentionally.
Another question. When the individual was seen walking up the road towards the duel, what do you think was going to happen?
I was just about to ask that shit. I was like, I don't know. We're going down this road. God damn it, Arch.
So, for that, I know that all the group basically saw the shinobi kind of sidelined in the vision when they saw the dude running as I was running, and we were going straight towards each other. I immediately thought this was going to be some straight up samurai shampoo little fucking fight between two samurai.
Then it just was some dude wanting to fight, and you didn't give it to him.
Some Westerner. It was just some Westerner, and we were just like, hey, oh, we're not fighting. Oh.
We're just like,
yeah.
I thought this was open fight. There's no fight here.
No, it's not open fight. Why are we not fighting?
I do not fighting.
And yeah, it's basically.
Why want to fight?
As soon as he said what kingdom, because Fellwolf was highly suspicious that this was an Orochi at first. Yeah, because he was like, no, this is bullshit. But as soon as he said what kingdom he was from, it all made sense. Yeah. Because of especially how the warriors from that kingdom act.
Yeah.
I am so glad that I rolled as high as I did on that. That was that's something that Arya would have known too. She loves learning about the other kingdoms. She loves learning about the history. I specifically took proficiency in history because of this shit.
Yeah.
And to meet a warrior like that from another kingdom especially one who's so renowned, like that's major.
That was your nerd boner just going full mast.
with what my character knows about them, if I had to give these guys a specific like a comparison to like modern warriors, these dudes are basically Spartans.
Yeah.
So imagine a Spartan going to the east and saying, "Hey, I want to learn how to be a samurai." It's basically just goes around fighting people and takes their weapons and fight with their weapons. That's basically what he was doing.
Yeah.
A Spartan in full plate armor, mind you.
Yeah. Underneath the armor of the samurai. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is that and that's what I'm saying. They are highly skilled warriors from that country. They're renowned, as you got with your history check. They're basically renowned to be warriors.
They're basically one-man armies at that point.
Yeah. And so, like, my character has nothing but respect for them immediately, especially if they're a warrior from that territory, or a former warrior even would still get respect from me, because they've shown that they have the skill necessary to pass those types of trials and tribulations.
Who did you think they were at first?
I thought it was one of the,
I mean, honestly, I thought he was. Yeah, I thought it was one of the Dragon Clan, maybe, or
no.
The other thought that I had was that it was another one of the Snake Clan coming to eliminate both.
So, as I basically explained briefly, each clan is unique with weapons, all except for
right.
And
when he described him as an Orochi wielding the same weapons that you had, I was like, okay, no, he can't be that.
Yeah, and the Dragon Clan, as I have told you guys before, they are the bow specialists.
Yeah.
He had a bow.
Well, he had one of everything. He had a kanabo too.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean he's a fucking
He had one of everything except for
the first thing that was listed was the bow. So I was like, "Oh shit, it's a dragon!" No, it's not. It wasn't a dragon.
What I thought it was the dude I was after, a guy who's been collecting weapons and using them in the wrong way, essentially not showing honor, killing civilians, things like that. Which somebody who readily runs towards a battle generally is going to be that type of mindset, especially when they have no idea what the battle's about. I mean, they could have approached it like we did, very passively, tried to figure out what was going on before they interceded. This individual was just like, "Fuck yeah, banger!"
You know what? That scene.
There's a fight. Let's go.
As that scene was happening, and as like the group, and then the Western were running towards the fight between the shinobi. All I could think about was this is Civil War. This is Civil War. This is Civil War. I was the whole way there. And I mean, of course, there was no clash, but it was like we were racing to get to them first because we got to stop this fight. Otherwise, the dude's going to fuck them up.
So what about this? I got a question I'll bring up. Since we're continuing on the path of what happened last week. One of the biggest important history deals that I would say you guys probably learned was the relatively brief conversation that Felwolf had with the Ronin, the passerby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. I
You
don't
guys-
know how that's gonna go. Kind of worried about it at the same time,
Marche.
but
Yeah. Because, like, well, the thing is, it's like Felwolf, if this dude is truly a Ronin who's lost his honor, Felwolf's clan is all about essentially giving people a chance to prove themselves. Which is basically what what he's trying to do with his own race, give them a chance to prove that they're not, the stereotypical gluttons and brutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when he crossed this Ronin, and he's like, number one, he's tactical. He's like, well, I just lost a lot of warriors today, or yesterday, so I need to replenish my ranks. Any warrior trained in a sword can at least fill up a footman role. Number one. Number two, this gives him the ability to try to earn honor back, which basically fulfills my my whole clan's ideal. So that was basically the whole reason why I learned his name, tried to crowbar my way into some of his knowledge, and then I gave him that statement, and we basically just parted ways.
So here's a question for Fel then.
Mhm.
Has your clan ever taken in Ronin before?
It's not uncommon. Well, it is uncommon. It's just not. To other clans, a Ronin is to be hunted and killed. Whether or not they're innocent or guilty, that's just how justice works here. He himself, like Arch basically just said, he didn't belong to a clan, which gave him a certain precedence that nobody would blame Star Strider clan from taking in a lone warrior, a forgotten soul, if you will. Which it is truly an honorable thing to do, to give a warrior a roof over his head, show him the respect that he may not have been given or was supposed to be given. Whether or not he deserves it, that's up for debate. He has to show that to Clan Star Strider, show that he has a place in the Wolf Clan. See if he can truly become part of the pack.
Yeah.
That was odd, though. Like, how does somebody who's not a part of a clan get labeled as a Ronin?
Think of it this way. What happens when the majority of your family dies out and you're cast out from a city? You just become lonely. You become alone. You're not part of anybody. You're not part of anything. Therefore, nobody cares for you. You have become Ronin.
But he was branded. So, who would have branded him then? If
Well,
not
see, that's
one
the
of his
thing.
clan?
Is he could have done something to like lost a duel, or like we don't know. He never opened that up to us. Whenever we come back from Shao Now and visiting the Emperor back to the Wolf Clan's territory, we can ask him that question if he survived the hunting. If he survived the hunting and reached a Wolf Clan territory, they can't chase him there. The Ox Clan can't go into Wolf Clan territory. The Shinobi can't go into Wolf Clan territory because that provokes
But
war.
who would hunt him?
Whoever
Like,
it is that
that's the
branded him.
question.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like it could have even been this mystery clan. We don't know.
Okay. So here's another question then. Just I'm trying to just understand the mechanics part of this in regards to the East.
Mhm.
Would, if he was branded as a Ronin by, like, say, the Dragon Clan?
Yeah.
Would the Dragon Clan chase him into the Snake Clan territory where we found
No,
him?
because the Dragon Clan aren't stupid.
Okay.
The Snake Clan will just pick them off one by one. The Dragon Clan are great archers. But it
Oh,
doesn't
so
matter
the
how
Snake
good of-
Clan will just kill him on sight.
they'll kill anybody on sight. If you cross into their territory, that's why they specifically said stay on the fucking road. Stay on the road. Don't drive
So
off. Stay on the
since
road.
he's on the road, he won't get killed.
He won't be killed by the Snake Clan, but if somebody's actually coming after him, that's
It's a possibility still.
it is still a possibility, which is why he says if he survives, he'll go to the Wolf Clan territory. If he can make it to the Wolf Clan territory, he's basically on safe ground. We offer
Okay.
everybody a second chance. So,
Interesting.
I mean, if you're a dirt bag, you're a dirt bag. I mean, there's no way around it. If you're an evil person, it will be found out and you will be dealt with. You'll be branded a Ronin by the Wolf Clan. At that point, you're fucked because nobody fucking
Like, there's nowhere in the East that you can go.
Yeah, and that's basically what it is. It's one of those things where, like, think of it like the way I like to see it is a homeless veteran on the streets. You know what I mean? And you want to at least help them out, give them a place to stand again, get their footing. You know what I mean? And if they choose to stay, if they choose to become part of the pack, then they can have their place. They can earn their role. They can earn their keep, and truly start to build up that honor again.
And to go back to your previous question, Celia, about the entire idea of lost honor. What or rather, I think it was Arch's question actually about what our thoughts were on that passing Ronin and hearing about the whole idea of lost honor. Aloria would basically think that the idea that someone that honor can be treated as like a measurable thing, like a currency, is basically asinine. To put it bluntly, because to her, either you are honorable or you are not. There is no level of honor. There is no level. It's just you are or you aren't. And so
that's actually a good point, because what you're talking about is the difference between Eastern and Western type of seeing it from a different perspective.
So to
Western, that's more of a Western perspective.
It is, and that's what she grew up knowing, though. Like even the idea that someone.
But even then, you would probably hate the Turn Terrors at that point, then.
Well,
because they are like the epitome of dishonorable.
Well, here's the thing. I've told you before that the way she judges people is based on a person's individual character. Now, the Turn Terrors are historically, you know, they're the ones that started the War of Whitewater. They're the ones that engaged the entire thing. The Turn Terrors, most of them were dishonorable people. They were evil people, and they did evil things. Arya's a Turn Terror, but she's not evil. She's not a dishonorable individual. She is honorable. She is good. And Aloria can see that. And to think that the opinion of, you know, some person who thinks they're better than everybody else holds sway over whether or not you're honorable, she thinks it's asinine. It's completely foolish. Because no one has the right to tell you if you're an honorable person, if you do good, that just because of, you know, the way that they see you, if they think like something that you've done or are being framed for is like you lose a certain amount of honor. It's like there's no certain amount of honor that you can or can't lose. You either are or you aren't. You do good or you do evil.
That point of view is legitimately you're exactly seeing it from the Wolf Clan's perspective. Yeah. And think about, since we're talking about Arya here, think to yourself very quickly why Felwolf doesn't kill Arya.
Because he sees her as honorable. He sees her as good.
No, look, think about the Wolf Clan way. Exactly what I did to the Ronin last weekend is exactly what I'm doing to Arya right now. I'm giving her that chance to prove that her family is not inherently evil.
Right, but to Aloria, that fact doesn't need to be proven by her. It's whether or not, it's not about whether she can. How do I word this? In her brain,
default honorable.
In her brain, based on her experiences with Arya thus far, she sees her as an honorable individual, as a good person.
The world does not.
The rest of the world doesn't.
And that
doesn't mean that she isn't.
Well, it's not about whether she is or not. It's about what the world sees you as, and is exactly what the Wolf Clan is attempting to change. And if he can get a Turn Terror to show in the world's face, pie him right in the face, like, "Hey, bitch, I'm a good guy. I'm in a hero league. I'm part of the Justice League. Fuck all y'all." That's basically it. I mean, he can basically say, "Hey, stop being a dick.
Yeah,
she's not bad."
Now,
your point's actually valid, and he's approaching it from a different angle.
Yeah. Now, as I say that Aloria knows that, you know, at least between you two, that you two are good people. She has stated before that there is darkness in everybody. I'm not casting that aside. Now, whether or not that darkness controls you, whether or not you, allow that to influence your decision making is another question entirely. Good people can do dark things. They can have a dark outlook on life. and they can still be, good and honorable people.
Uh,
So Aloria, in addition to seeing things as you either are honorable or you aren't, there's also a set of gray that she works in. That is it's a blurry line that she walks, but that is how she sees things. Is that there is absolutely gray, yes, in addition to the black and white, and most of the time people operate in that gray. Though it is clear that they either lean to one side or the other.
I mean, I can see your point. Even Felwolf has that approach where he's not 100% good. Nobody is. That's physically impossible. But even he does things that a lot of the orcs would consider, taboo or just dishonorable to some. But he does it for a purpose that is for good nature, for a good cause. For example, it may seem completely inconsequential that during one of our fights he grabbed onto his Naginata and used that instead of a katana. However, if I did that in the Ox clan, I would be a fucking laughing stock.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be crucified. I would just be laughed at. They wouldn't consider me an Orochi. They'd consider me some weirdo on the fucking street, some sort of a street clown. But he does it because it's a tactically sound advantage at the time. He was able to keep things from going past him in that direction.
Yeah.
Now, to most people, that was like, dude, it's just using another weapon. For him, that's something else entirely. It's because, like we said earlier, it's all about looking at things from a different perspective. Arya here approaches things from a grace perspective as well, but in her own unique way. She's not worried about weapons or honor. She has her own lifestyle and history that influences her choices.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually kind of curious. What do you two know about the Turn Terrors?
Well,
we've been told.
Well, you've been told. My clan has had a history.
well, yeah. What I've been told as far as the Turn Terrors go. Let me scroll back up here. I should be here somewhere. Essentially, what my character knows of the Turn Terrors is that they were vampires, and that they were the ones who started the war of Whitewire. They were the aggressors in that war, and that they had primarily resided within the Crimson Cliffs. That is where they made their home. Aside from that, not much else.
In terms of the Turn Terrors for Clan Starstar, basically, from the very start, we fought against them. As I said before, we were and are loyal to Whitewater. Though we may reside in the Jade jurisdictions because we play our own role in the Jade jurisdiction, we will not abandon our role.
Yeah.
We can still have our loyalty to the faction of which we choose. So long as we play the correct role, nobody really gives a shit. It's not like we're in active war against the Jade jurisdiction. In terms of the Battle of Whitewater, my father directly took action. He was there. He fought alongside the king. He slew Turn Terrors.
Oh, you did tell us this.
Yes, I did.
Now you did tell us all of that.
He actively did fight against the Turn Terrors. He did what he had to do at the time. And then after the war, he stopped being a soldier. He became an adventurer, and he used the skills he learned during war to assist everybody, not just Whitewater, which is the ideals that he brought back to the Wolf Clan, which everybody there really agreed with. They really chimed in and resonated with Dragonhawk. He was this individual that can move people with a speech that could show the good that everybody had inside of them, even if they've had a dark past, and bring that out. Which is why he founded a group called the Emerald Legends, and he went around with them and started doing, the random fucking hero thing. And that's what Felwolf was basically raised to and looked at everywhere he went. Even when he was in training, he would go to the temples and he would have diagrams, depictions, and things depicting of what great warriors of the past have done. And then there would always be some sort of a story about his own father thrown in there.
Yeah.
About this great deed that he did, or if he would travel with his father around the entire continent and be like watching them do these adventures, slaying fucking manticores or whatever it is that's terrorizing a village, and getting little to nothing in return just because that's what they did.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Felwolf has such a mindset. Why the first thing we talked about today about that choice that he's about to make, going to Shout now, which terrifies him. It torments him.
Yeah. I mean, as it generally should.
With Arya, I mean, Felwolf has known Arya for years. He's always been there to be that pep in her step, to be the person she can stay in the shadow with and hide behind if she needs to. Always waiting for her to take that step out into the sun and shine, which he knows she can do. Her family had greatness once. They wasted it frivolously and for the wrong things. That is not her choice. She can make her own decision. And that's basically what he's here for. He's here to be the wolf that shepherds the sheep and not eat it this time.
That was smooth.
Has a lot more meaning than you might think.
That's nice.
That is interesting.
There's a little bit of a quote I'll give you from Clan Starstrider.
Yeah.
I really wish we could have these talks in character. Holy
Listen,
shit.
Okay, I'm going to point this out right now.
How much shit like that jives with.
So this is a conversation that could very well be had in character. It's not out of the question. Just because we talk about things here doesn't mean they can't be brought up in character. If there are good things to talk about out of character,
at some point.
There are good things to talk about out of character because it allows us to go down different avenues of thought. But being in character and experiencing these kind of situations will be good. But first, we have to break down the walls that we have with each other. That is going to be the biggest. That is the biggest obstacle that we have, is just our own social barriers, and that's going to take a lot more time than it'll take for us to sit down, around our microphones and be like, all right, let's talk about all the things that we thought and like how this, jives with us. It's.
Hey, let's put on our tinfoil hats.
Yeah, let's get our tinfoil hats, guys.
I'm here all day. You guys just gotta ask me. I'm over here giving y'all back rubs and holding your arms, like, hey guys, what's up?
We'll see. Here's the thing about that. Back rubs don't cause a person to come out of their shell. As nice as they are, Val does give fantastic back rubs, but that's not what's gonna get a person out of their shell. What's gonna get a person out of their shell is social comfort. The idea that they can be vulnerable with people and not have it bite them in the ass, which is exactly the mindset that Eloria is under right now. She outright, as she's told you, she outright refuses or simply doesn't have the ability to anymore see people as friends, to be close with people. And that, getting past that will be the biggest step for her to take. And I don't know what it's going to take for that step to be eventually had, but that's the thing that has got to be, that's the step that's going to be taken. That's the wall that's got to be broken down, is the idea that, she can see people as more than just faces and names that you're familiar with. Than just people who help you, than just people, who, you're with and using to further a goal. And,
she needs to
and
learn
like
how
I
to
said,
trust, basically.
she has, due to her backstory, what has happened to her, she has forgotten how to trust. How to trust people. And it's something that will take a lot of time for her.
I'm willing to be a
specifically.
walking scar.
A
By the
walking
time
scar.
you trust me.
Dude, probably your skin will have hardened into scabs. You'll have scab armor. But it's like, so the reason that why she, like we were saying earlier, why she sees things in primarily shades of gray, but still sees that people are good and people are evil, is because of that past that she has had. She knows that good people are can succumb to darkness, that they can do, bad things. But in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't necessarily make them as a whole bad. She knows that Fel has that, that rage inside of him. She's seen it, kind of boil a couple of times, and then has seen it.
God!
She's seen it boil, not over the edge, but she's seen it boil under the surface a couple of times, and then of course, like that with Khan, that was him like fucking letting that rage all out, and then she saw it again when we were fighting the Mystery Clan for the first time, and he was just laser focused on killing these bastards. And she saw that, she recognized it, and then she told him when he brought it up. She was like, I've seen that in you before. That wouldn't be the first time. And it was just such a casual thing for her, because that's what she expects out of people. She expects darkness from good people, maybe not all the time, but she expects it from people, and expects that it will at some point or another boil over and show. She knows. I mean, she's already seen Arya's darkness. She's seen Fel's darkness. And Arya's darkness is of course a different kind, obviously, but it's still darkness. It is something that that Arya struggles with. The rage is something that Fel struggles with. And so it's being able to see good and evil, and then also being able to understand when you can operate in shades of gray. None of it is mutually exclusive from each other. It all goes hand in hand. It's a case by case basis, is how she sees it, which is why, despite the fact that Arya is a vampire, she doesn't let that dictate her entire opinion of her. That's just a part of the entirety that is Arya. Because more than a vampire, Arya is still her own individual who can make her own choices, do her own things. She can have her own thoughts. And the same thing with Fel. Just because he's a half-orc doesn't mean that he's some, mindless brute. And he has shown that. He's shown that he is of a tactical mind. He's shown that, he is compassionate. That he cares about the people around him. But he has also shown that dark side of him, the side that most other uneducated people would see in seeing him for the first time. And like I said, all of that draws back to that single core event in her past, which you have yet to know about. The way that Eloria sees the world, and the way that she treats the people around her, it is all for a very, very good reason. It's not just, seeing darkness in the world and, wallowing in self-pity and sorrow and being like, oh, everything, just sucks, why bother? It's much more than just that. We're not pulling a fucking Medion right now. That's not what she's doing.
Oh my god.
She's not pulling.
I love that.
She's not pulling a Medion. It's much more intricate than that.
I will say Arya's been at that point too. She has been there. And that's something you guys will definitely have to talk about, because, like, out of everybody in this group, I think the two people who could get along the most with Arya are Aloria and Fel so far.
And we have so far.
Albert, maybe. I don't know enough about Albert in order to say for sure, but I think maybe Albert could get along with Arya really well. And I think she could get along with everybody else as well. But like Aloria and Fel are the two people who stand out to me right now. Who they would get along if they talked.
Yeah, I know. I've asked Fel this on a number of occasions. I keep trying to pick his brain as to what he thinks about things people do, but he gives me such like just candid answers. I can't get anything substantial out of him.
What are you talking about?
So I'm gonna ask you, Arya, since I don't think I've actually even really asked you about this at all, because I think you've only been on the talks like maybe once, and I don't even think I was on it. I don't think I was even on it for that one. But now that I'm hosting
you hopped in partway through,
only to give my tinfoil hat description and not talk about anything else. But thus far, concerning Aloria, the way that she basically at the beginning interrogated Arya, showed that typical distrust towards something she viewed as strange, and then moving forward into how she reacted when she found out you were a turn terror, and her basically the perplexed state that she was in when Fel said that he trusted you, in spite of that knowledge, and just handing you the sword, and then again when you eventually lost control in the pyramid, then going into that mode where you were trying to put everyone to sleep so you could feed. Through all of that, Aloria has generally attempted to keeping you at arm's distance, has tried to explain.
Well.
What's that? What's that, Fel?
Keeping us at arm's distance has not worked very well.
Well, it's like she's kept Arya at arm's length, but has also, especially in the moment in the pyramid, basically giving that pep talk, and explaining things logically. What has Arya's mental journey been regarding Aloria and how she thinks that she sees her?
Oh God.
And what
question.
And what might she think that Aloria might do in the future in regards to further interaction with you?
At the beginning, she figured Aloria might be curious, might try and pry, but she would be okay otherwise. When they found the sword, which I will let you both know, that is the Ruby King's sword. That is her family's sword.
You told us it was a family heirloom.
It is the sword that the Turn Terrors are basically named after. That is the entire reason the Turn Terrors exist where they existed.
Hold that thought. We'll save that for when it comes up in game, because that's something that is way better in the game.
That's literally as far as I'm going to go.
You have told us that before, so we're going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
But
so when she saw that and then saw Fel and Aloria's reaction to her getting that, she figured Aloria is never going to trust her. She knows that she's a Turn Terror. She's never going to trust Arya. And then after losing it, she was like, okay, I just hurt my allies' trust for nothing, basically. That was all pointless. So she was really in a rough spot when they were traveling. she she tested the strength of her bond with the people around her when she didn't want to for nothing. And that sucked. So when they got to the pyramid, she was already in like a really rough spot, and then saw what happened there.
Saw the aftermath.
Yeah. She wasn't even like paying attention to her hunger at that point, and then snapped. Afterwards, hearing Aloria, she was like, "This is essentially lip service." Like she honestly thinks that Aloria, one, hates her, two, distrusts her to the point of she's basically gonna hold a gun to her at some point, or like she's keeping an eye on her basically, and has been keeping a distance ever since, for the most part. She's at the point now where she's not sure what to do on how to earn people's trust again. Like she's in a rough spot mentally already, and then everything else that's going on, she's just trying to kind of be there for Fel at this point. Like she's just focusing on that and trying not to think about anything else.
All right.
That's about where she's at.
And in contrast, or rather, I guess in addition to, when Felwolf, not only in Khan's estate but also in the pyramid, when he stated again after experiencing exactly what it was that you did when you could basically no longer take the hunger when you eventually snapped, him saying that he wouldn't leave you behind, did that make you trust him more, and in so doing perhaps in the mind give at least a little bit of credence to what Aloria was saying? Or do you think that that Aloria was not being genuine and that Fel was?
In the moment, she definitely thought, "Oh yeah, this is just more lip service." Like that was her thought at the moment. As they went on, it did lend a little bit more credence to what Aloria was saying, and she kind of trusted it a little bit more because she knows Fel. They've been traveling for a while. She kind of understands him a little bit, to the point where she's willing to take his word at face value. I mean, he's never shown otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Never shown to be that kind of double standard kind of thing, where he says one thing but means another. So it kind of gives more credence to Aloria. She still is almost sure that Fel would 100% kill her if need be. She's almost 100% sure that Fel will 100%, without hesitation, kill her if she loses control again. Which is also why she asked Shadow to do it too. She doesn't want to have her blood on Fel's hands.
That's fair. And Fel, during that entire scenario, regarding Arya and how Arya and Aloria have interacted thus far, what are your views on what is going on there? What do you believe, similar to Arya, where there's not a whole lot of there's not a whole lot of sincerity behind what Aloria had said, or do you think that it was truly what she was thinking?
You want a candid answer?
Give me as
No.
as detailed of an answer as you possibly can. Give me something to work with. Come on.
As I said, I've already said Felwell's thought process on basically everything. In terms of his friends, which he does consider each of you his friends, at least those who openly interact with him, at least. He believes, number one, about Arya, the whole vampire hickey on the neck thing. He doesn't really hold anything against her, for one. Number two, about the conversations. He's been 100% on everything he's told everybody. And he has not lied. At all. And he will not lie to you. He will tell you straight to your face what he thinks. If you ask him a question, he's going to give you a straight answer, because if he doesn't, it could cost us in the future. When it comes to your guys' conversation between each other, that's really not where he belongs. As I've said before, he keeps to his lane. He doesn't belong between you two building a relationship. If you would like to extend a road out to him to create that road of friendship, I mean, he's already extended his hand on multiple occasions, and it took fucking forever for Arya just to open up to Felwolf about anything.
Literally, as they were traveling through the desert, it was a fucking year before they even started.
It's like if Felwolf wasn't so inexperienced with women, he would probably hate women at this point.
They all seem so angsty and pissed off at everything. What the hell's going on, man? Like I'm traveling with these two girls, and all they do is brood. Like I got these two girls, and all they do is brood. Like what the hell, man? Like are they on their perpetual
edgiest people that you could possibly meet?
Dude, we are the edgiest and most like solemn people in this fucking group. It's oh my god. I mean, can we say that it's accurate? Can we say that we play women accurately? Because I feel like this is what it's like.
And that's basically where Felwolf's coming from. He's just like, I'm just gonna. You gotta imagine like the patience this man has
Dude.
showed, man. And Lucy says, "Hey, Spaz, fuck you."
Fuck you, Lucy. No, obviously, I'm. Obviously, I'm being satirical.
It's not even about being male or female at this point. With your two characters in particular. Your two have interacted the most and done so much dialogue to get absolutely nowhere. It has been astounding to me. Like you guys have done a good 60% of the dialogue together total, and done nothing.
Yep. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
There has been 2% character growth there.
Well, I mean, given our characters, what they've shown to be, what do you expect?
That's what my point is. It's like
the two most distrustful characters you can possibly have.
I have extended the dialogue. You know, I've tried to break open the shells and whatnot. And we're sitting on what week is this in terms of episode?
We're on week 10.
This is going into 10.
We're going into week
10.
We're
going into double digits, and you still refuse to talk about anything.
Well, hey, in character, we've only known each other like a month and a half, so not a terribly long amount of time. You're lucky that Eloria had the fucking idea to talk to Fel, primarily because she just wanted information. It wasn't even her reaching out. It just the conversation twisted to that, and Fel started to kind of pull at her a little bit. But then
that's basically a valid point as well. It's like at this point, I might die of old age.
You're not gonna die of old age.
I might actually die of old age before I get anywhere.
Look.
You listen. You two live a lot longer than I do. Okay, I don't have all the time in the world, okay?
No, but I will say this: as far as psychology goes, us traveling together like this, doing the things that we're doing, seeing the things that we're seeing, and pushing through everything together day by day, that will be, I think, a huge factor into the eventual shell breaking of both of our characters.
Because, that's exactly what I said.
Because
before.
it's when people pull together, and it's the whole brothers in arms things, right, like this, the bond of soldiers is beyond anything a normal person can have.
I completely agree, and that's why I'm going to be a walking scab by the time you open up.
No, and so I believe that through the adventures that we have, the trials that we overcome, that bond will grow exponentially. It's starting off really slow, but that exponential growth will happen. I'm positive, which is why I don't have a problem playing this very reserved and really only speaking to gain information style of characters. This introverted, not necessarily, I guess, a little bit antisocial character, just because I have a very strong feeling that through what we will eventually experience together, it will be easier to let go of those, to basically begin to break down that wall, or let that wall be broken.
Like, let me put it this way: both Arya and Oria have grown up around people who live very long lives.
Mm-hmm.
People who live long lives tend to move a little bit slower and are slower trusting.
That's true.
Sorry to say,
I completely agree, and that's why I was laughing, because Felwolf has been from the opposite side, where everything's hard.
Exactly. Everything is moving very quickly and is always in constant motion around Fel.
That is something.
So it's like two things collide, or an immovable object hitting an unstoppable force.
Exactly. It's Fel, your character and mine, we could not be more polar opposite if we tried. From the ends of the continent that we are on, to the ideals that we have, to the way we interact with people, and to the way that we view relationships, it couldn't be more different.
Yep.
Which is exactly why I have been saying that Felwolf and the East will be an influence. How large of an influence, I don't know, but it will be an influence to her, depending on how long that we stay here. That's all I'm going to say about that.
That's all I'm going to say about that. Just saying, I only have so much blood in my system to bleed out. So.
Listen, as long as we're healing you.
Especially when Arya starts sucking it out again.
She didn't suck out your blood. She just ate your dreams.
Yeah,
right.
We don't know what kind of thing's gonna happen because of
the very
that.
few dreams I get to have in all this stressful world. My few moments of respite between your guys' angsty teen attitudes.
And it's constantly being just
see, here's the thing about it, is that for Eloria, it's the angstiness and like the teenager like a mindset is, I would probably say, worse than Arya, because A, she's younger than Arya by 10 years. B, again, it all ties back to that one singular event in our past and how that affected her moving forward. It is going to take a bit for Eloria to A, move on from that, B, break down her barriers, and C, grow the fuck up. Let me
put it this way. Arya's been where Eloria is and has already moved past it.
Exactly. You have matured where Eloria has not yet.
I think my only main concern, off of track record, I will say that off of track record, is the fact that these changes don't come before we lose somebody.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
It could very well.
Off of track record.
And it could happen at any point too.
It could be
that's the scary part.
It could be a Critical Role Campaign 2 style of thing.
Yeah.
It very well could be.
Yeah, they
It's
lost
just
somebody
a
on like
character's
day 10 of their fucking adventure.
It was like, I think it was like episode 26, like session 26, I think is when
20
they
something
lost him.
is where they lost their first character.
And that's the thing. It's like, could you imagine if my character drops?
Oh God,
Could you imagine if Lori or Arya just dies next episode?
dude, don't even start.
That's kind of my point, and that's something that think about it this way. With
Honestly,
your guys,
if
with your guys' constant paranoia and shit like that, you think about if one of these people dropped. Have your character think about that for like a day. What if that person dropped?
that's the thing, if one of these people drops, it may not have the desired, or rather the more positive effect on Aloria than it would the others. I'm just gonna say that.
That's my point. Is like, think about that for a second, then ask yourself, what keeps your character here?
Yeah. For right now, and as what began it, and what to an extent is still continuing it, is necessity.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is you can't just continue a story like that off of a whim. Eventually, there has to be some sort of a thread that connects each other. Everybody together.
That's the thing.
The thing is, and that's what we have to figure. You can sit here and what if all day long, and say, well, it'll happen down the road. It'll happen down the road. Well, so will death. Eventually, one of us may die, and that might happen sooner than later. That's the way things have been going. We've been fighting very powerful people. If you don't make these connections soon, you won't have the chance to make these connections and unify the group as a cohesive unit. And that's basically what's on one of the very fucking many things that's on his fucking mind at this point, is because this is just one fucking situation we find ourselves in.
Yeah.
This is one. And this is just my part of the story arc.
Yeah.
We haven't even got into Shadows yet, which is in the same fucking area.
Yeah, we're going to be here for a while. This place.
That's my point. It's like, you guys got to think, like, and he's trying. Like, every night you guys sit there, he pulls a watch, somebody sits down with him, he'll sit there and bullshit, shoot the shit, talk about history, whatever. If you guys open dialogue, he's the open book. Everybody has been able to ask him anything, and he's 100 with you. 100. And he's sitting here with you two. It's like taking chalk and writing on a wall. It's hard to make an improvement. And he's sitting there. It's not for a lack of trying. He is trying.
Is he really, though?
Yes, he is. He's super nice to
is.
everybody. Yeah.
He is making an effort. And it hasn't gone unnoticed. I will say that.
I
But
think
there are
Aloria is
other
just
things that are
oblivious.
happening, and yeah.
It's like, you got to take a moment, like, with what's about to happen, specifically this weekend, more than likely, he may not be in a nice headset anymore.
Possibly.
And you're going to not have that happy-go-lucky person. And then there's just going to be that cloud that floats amongst the group perpetually until somebody does something.
And that's been an issue this entire time.
Exactly.
Yep.
So instead of 2, there will be 3.
The primary the
Well,
primary
no, not
thing
even that. It's just everybody's hesitant to do things.
The primary thing that I am struggling with, not not just as a lawyer, but as a player, is identifying the kind. Well, I know the kind of character that Aloria is. I know, rather, I have a very good idea of how it'll be a slow burn of a process. But I also, like you said, I don't want it to take so long that something terrible happens and then I'm set back. Because, and so trying to find the right moment, basically, to to show the first real step. Maybe not like the step, but the first proper step in that direction of camaraderie. I'm really struggling because so far there hasn't really been a good moment for it. I've had a couple of moments with characters like Fel and Arya specifically. I've had nice moments with the both of you, but those nice moments aren't all that's going to go into the eventual opening up of Eloria. Like Arya, it took forever for Arya to open up to Fel. Great of a guy as he is, just because of the way that she what she lived through, what she's been through, and what she's afraid of. And
it's specifically because he's Fel that took a long time as well.
That's also a good point, and that goes into that. Eloria doesn't necessarily have an issue with a certain people, or she doesn't have a fear that like people will. She has no historically significant past to speak of. That's exactly what she told Fel. She is unremarkable compared to the lot of you. Shadow being the lost son of the lost heir to the Shadowfang clan. Felwolf being the upcoming head of the Wolf clan, and with Arya being the one of, if not the last remaining member of the Terror family, and just attempting to survive and to carve a better life for herself. You three are severely connected to major historical events. However, whether or not they're linked to each other, they are very important. And so Eloria's fears are not so grand as that. It's more so of a personal. It is far more of a small scale and personal and it concerns basically only her. No one else is going to hunt her down for what she is. No one is going to ridicule her. Or rather, she doesn't have the fear of everybody ridiculing her for being a druid or being, a wildfire. Though her circle, similar to the way half-orcs might be treated, maybe to a lesser extent, her circle is not exactly welcome with the what we would call the quote-unquote the settled / civilized people, the actual cities and towns. So there would be a little bit of prejudice there, but that's not what she cares about. She doesn't think about that. It's a much more personal thing for her, and to share that deep personal the deep personal thing about herself, it would be basically against the way she has lived for the last third of her life. So that's why I personally, as a player, am having a little bit of an issue trying to find a good moment or a good moment to take the first proper step, and also trying to find little moments that I can have that will, tiptoe me in the proper direction. I am trying to set this up as best I can, but nothing's scripted. Everything is improv. We go as as the DM. We go as we will, right? We do as we will. So not everything falls into place as I would particularly like it to be, and that's just something that I'm gonna have to deal with and figure out when a good moment or moments will be.
That's life in general too. That's nothing. That's not a game thing. That's just life. Things aren't always at the right time. Things are sometimes never going to be the right time, and some things just don't have to be said, and we only get those little moments in D&D when we actually take them for ourselves.
Yeah, it's something that we have to actively do, and that's
that's something I need to work on.
It's that active. It is that active. It's the actual taking of that action. The conscience. What's the fucking word I'm looking for? Is that the right word?
Conscious.
The conscious decision. Making that decision consciously is what's difficult for me in particular, because of the way that Eloria is. It's not something that she would do all the time. She was not going to go, every night and have a chat. That's not her personality. That's something that those little moments.
Same with Arya too. They're kind of similar in that way. They're very guarded.
Exactly.
And for good reason too. Like it's not for like an invalid reason that they're both really kind of hesitant to share with themselves. Like,
it's for that reason why these moments of, little as they are, these little moments of character growth and interaction are so few and far between. Is because, first of all, the three or four characters that do the most talking, that are the most active in the roleplay, are the one, excluding Fel, the ones that are the most averse to like that opening up to that casual conversation, and I think that Albert and Stolen and Elenin would be, if they were a part of those conversations more, like in a more active role, we could see a lot more just dialogue happening between characters, because those characters are more outgoing by their nature, by the way that they were built. It's just we have this weird dichotomy within our players where the more quiet players are playing what would be considered more social characters, and the more social people are playing quieter characters. It has become this really fucked up yin yang.
It's fun though.
Except for Fel. Fel is playing exactly what he would be, and that helps a lot, being that kind of anchor, that focal point that we can kind of latch on to. It's part of the reason why we joke so much that you're the protagonist. It's because you have been this kind of easy character to latch onto and to find an excuse to either through you have dialogue with another person, or to just outright have dialogue with.
And I kind of feel the same way, where like I did not go into this campaign expecting to be like a main character kind of deal. I expected this to be like every other campaign I've ever done, and everybody's relatively equal. But the way this one has progressed has essentially frontlined me through 80% of this campaign. And granted, now we are in the East, so my character has the most experience dealing with this, so that into account. But that aside, even still, like you said, with the dialogue, having my character, seeing certain things in dialogue and be able to pick out these things and do like the whole warrior thing from the Anubis part.
Yeah.
Like how everybody had a chance to do it, and then it like the last minute, me.
you did it. Listen,
you're the character that does the action before anything else. You are the one that will take the action, and who resonated with that character. I think.
I mean, that's just one example. Is like if with like another one was we go back to Khan, since that was one of the most iconic moments we've had as a group of unity to this point, where he was offering us basically a fucking job, and I told him to go ride the fucking train, because we're not gonna sit here and side with people who let slavery be a thing. And I was like, no, I won't lower myself to that. Fuck you. and some of you stood behind you, and some of you just stood to the side. I mean, regardless, he would have fucking acted the way you would have acted regardless. I mean, if your characters act a certain way, that's irrelevant to me. And I've played the character like that because, number one, that's how he is trained to be. Number two, the personality has persisted in a very dominant way because of the way everybody's personalities are.
Yeah.
That I didn't expect. Because one of the very important things I was worried about is exactly what we talked about was certain people don't speak up and don't get enough like RP time as other people, specifically things like Stolen and Albert, but it's because they're generally more soft-spoken people and they tend to just sit in the background and let everybody else drive the story forward. That's not what I wanted, but at the same point, that's basically what I'm doing. So
yeah. Well, here's the thing. With the cast of characters that we have, this is how it'll be, especially with where we are. This is how it's going to be. Now, moving forward, when the dynamic will change. It won't always be this way. I can guarantee you that right now.
That's true.
Because once more people are, in the thick of the conversation, talking, and going at it, and more prone to seeking out those interactions and just talking and shooting the shit, the dynamic will become much more normal and equalized as time goes on.
And it's like one of my concerns is like, I don't want to be a protagonist because protagonists get slapped a lot, and I don't want that.
I mean, and that's fair. Honestly, I don't. I personally.
You're on track still, so
we make the joke that you're the protagonist, and as it stands right now, to an extent, you kind of are if you look at it.
I am, yeah. I get my ass whooped every weekend.
And so I do want that to change. Not because I hate that you're getting spotlight. I don't mind you getting spotlight. I think it's cool that we get to explore your shit and see all of the East and see what this this ascension is going to entail. I'm all about it. But I do want that spotlight to be shown on everybody.
Absolutely.
And I feel that particularly Fel and myself and Aria to, I would say, probably in equal extent, the three of us have had the spotlight on us the absolute most. Shadow, while he does participate in the RP a bit, he has, his own things to say, until very recently didn't have the spotlight on him a lot. And Stolen, Elenin, and Albert have barely had anything. So I hope, honest to God, hope that this dynamic changes for the sake of everybody.
I'm sure that it will.
Like I said, with this upcoming weekend in particular, with if we get to Shao now, there will be a change in dynamic because there's going to be a lot of sadness. And with the way the Samurai Code works in the East, he is not going to be able to lead this group for a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
That is, of course, if circumstances don't change.
That is also a possibility, because we are now at the Cherry Blossom Samurai's temple, meeting Mao, where he was concerned about something that Fel didn't know about. So I'm kind of curious as to where that's going to go.
I don't think, me personally,
I think there's going to be something that is going to be also happening at the same time.
I don't think that we're going to have Fel removed from our party for an extended period of time.
No. I don't think that's likely.
Assassinated.
I don't think that Fel is going to be removed from our party, for any significant amount of time, just simply for roleplay.
I think that there's going to be
roleplay.
I think that there's going to be something else that's going to pop up.
Something is
Because
going to keep
I
us
get the
together.
feeling that there's something else going on here with the silver katana.
Yeah, something is going to keep us together. I mean, and
Not
it's
even
like,
that. I think that there's going to be something else going on in another place, not just in the east.
entirely
Because
possible.
with everything that's been going on in the east, and the fact that the warriors came from the west, there's more to this than there seems to be.
Yeah. I mean, the rest of the world will move on without us. I mean, it's doing its own thing. So anything can happen.
It's going to be an interesting time, that's for sure.
Interesting is one word for it. I mean, we walked into the middle. We walked into the middle of a.
No.
You're not gonna die.
Well, I will say Arch is renowned for killing my characters.
Don't bring
He's
that
not-
up.
Don't say
Come
that.
on,
Listen,
you're jinxing it.
you've got a cleric and a
Say it.
druid who are a cleric and a druid who are specialized.
You can't heal
healing.
triple crit, alright? You can't heal triple crit.
No, but
alright?
no. Do you want to know what how you heal triple crit? It's called revivify.
Yeah,
we don't have it yet.
that.
We don't.
We
However,
don't have that.
we don't. However, that is it's a possibility. Yes, highly, highly, highly improbable.
Nah. Nah.
Dude, shut the fuck up. Do you need to run the numbers?
No, bro, I don't have to run the numbers. I've played in multiple of Arch's campaigns. I'm always the first one to die.
So superstitious much? Yeah.
It's not
look,
superstition, it's more as a repeating pattern.
recurring theme. Yeah. I don't. Honestly, as far as character death goes, if I was not a wildfire druid, I would have had the earliest character death. You know why? Because of that fucking vault. If I hadn't been able to teleport my ass close enough to you for you to yeet me out the door, I would have been locked in there. Because of that fucking coin pit.
There was... No, you had another option in order to get out. If I remember correctly. There was something else that somebody else was doing at the same time in order to try and get you out.
Well, I mean, Fel was trying to hold the door, I think. But...
There's more than that.
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Don't worry about it.
It's classified G14.
What the hell?
Don't worry, you don't have secret scroll clearance.
Secret squirrel clearance?
He's just bullshitting you.
That's all the time we have for today, folks. With that nonsense, we are approaching 3.5 hours. Unless you guys have any last questions that you want to say, or if you guys have anything else that you want to particularly pick at, we are going to call it here, I think.
I don't have anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to find an individual to raid.
Who we got this running right now?
Let's see. Well, as far as I need to. Who do
Lucy
you?
says I just want to pick at Spaz because he a wimp.
Well, you a bitch, Lucy. So how about that? Ha! Fuck you. Let's see.
Nags is up and running right now.
Nags is up. Do you want to raid Nags?
Sure, send us to Nags. Give us some
why not?
back.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go to Nags. We're actually
go.
streaming while he is. Let's go. Alrighty. Alrighty. Go ahead and everybody send Nags some love. This project was helped out a lot by him. So send him some thanks. Send him some love. And thank you guys for being here today. We really appreciate it. See you all later.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay. Let me think here. So how many bosses in the DLC do I have left?